Chapter 610. The people of Linhai Prefecture and the Duke of Linhai left. In order to avoid embarrassment, the sixth prince also got up and left. Only the three people of the Zhao clan, Shi Zhizhong, and Wu Mingjue were left in the meeting hall. Zhao Lingxiao ordered, County Duke Heiyang, tell Shi Zhenbang to talk to Wang Daoyuan again. As long as the Wang clan sets things right, I will infect the entire Qingli prefecture to the Wang clan and keep Jinyan City. Wang Daoyuan himself will be conferred the title of County Prince Qingli, like the Duke of Linhai, hereditary. Marquis Linchuan, go back to Green Willow Prefecture and bring half of the subordinates we have trained here. Remember, take them away from the edge of Tianzhan mountain range, so as to avoid any unpleasantness with the Wang clan. The two bowed and said, Yes, Your Majesty. Wang Daoyuan studied his minor divine arts in the underground cave of Yuchuan Peak. He had already mastered the escape technique, so without some tempering, it would be difficult to improve. The best way to improve his methods was to study the combination of minor divine arts and other methods. 3 days later, news came from the 12th uncle. When the cultivators of the Demon Execution Department were hunting demon beasts, they found more than 20 rank 3 flying warships in Green Willow Prefecture, flying towards Wanchuan Market. However, the flying warships did not enter Yannan Prefecture, but went south along the edge of Tianzhan mountain range. Wang Daoyuan did not find it strange. Previously, Zhou Luan had sent news that the Zhao clan had a new emperor. The 9th prince had ascended the throne, so he naturally had to pull some of his subordinates over. They did not enter the Wang clan's territory, so Wang Daoyuan naturally did not care about this matter. Soon, news came from the small market of Jingtai Mountain that Shi Zhenbang wanted to see him. Wang Daoyuan did not plan to hide anymore. At this time, there was no need. He directly let Shi Zhenbang come to Yuchuan Peak and personally receive him outside Yuchuan Peak like how he received Gu Wangzong. Shi Zhenbang followed Wang Daoyuan into the hall. After sitting down, he went straight to the point. Administrator, now that His Highness the 9th Prince has ascended the throne, he is willing to confer you the title of County Prince Qingli. Your position is the same as the Duke of Linhai, hereditary. The entire Qingli County, plus Jinyan City, is your fief. I wonder when when will you mobilize your troops and join His Majesty in exterminating the 3 sects? Wang Daoyuan replied, I'll say this first. If Your Highness the 9th Prince is the leader, and the Zhao family's strength is about the same as the 3 sects, I will naturally help the Zhao family. If the difference in strength is too great, I can only protect my family. Now, the cultivators left behind by the 3 sects were not weak. Even if the Zhao family attacked now, they would not be able to completely defeat the 3 sections. There were still 15 golden core stage cultivators left at the Wuqing Pass. It was still unknown who was stronger. It's still too early to talk about this. Shi Zhenbang knew that Wang Daoyuan wanted to see which way the wind was blowing, and also knew his attitude towards the Zhao clan. Thus, Shi Zhenbang's mission was completed. Following that, the two of them chatted idly and even discussed some matters regarding cultivation. After chatting for 12 to 12 hours, Shi Zhenbang finally took his leave. Wang Daoyuan still sent him off 100 miles away. The next day, the Netherworld sect could no longer sit still. Gu Wangzong came over again and chatted with Wang Daoyuan for a long time. As long as Wang Daoyuan was willing to send troops to attack the Zhao family, the Netherworld sect could also include the northern part of the Heiyang County into the Yannan County's sphere of influence. Moreover, after destroying the Zhao family, the territory near the Wanchuan Market could also be included in the Yannan County. Wang Daoyuan patted his chest and guaranteed that there would be no problem. He immediately began to gather people. After chatting for a few hours, Gu Wangzong was sent away. As soon as Gu Wangzong left, Wang Daoyuan asked the 12th uncle to send people to occupy the northern part of the Heiyang County. The cultivators of the families in the northern part of the Heiyang County were all captured by the 6th prince's people as scapegoats. More than half of those people were killed in the attack on the Three River Market. The rest of them were atoning for their crimes and had not yet returned. Only some rogue cultivators were taking advantage of the situation. After the cultivators of the administrator's mansion drove away the rogue cultivators, they built the guardian's mansion in the Heiyun Lake Market. Previously, the Li family and other families had sent their disciples to join the administrator's mansion as rogue cultivators. Now, Wang Daoyuan appointed them to guard the Heiyun Lake Market and stabilize the situation here. It only took the administrator's mansion a day to completely control the entire northern part of the Heiyang County. The benefits promised by the Netherworld sect had already been taken. As for sending troops, they still had to gather people, didn't they? The people who were sent to rescue the mysterious crystal mine had not been gathered yet. This matter could not be rushed. Wang Daoyuan only took the benefits but did not do anything, which made the Netherworld sect very angry. But now they had to ask him for help, so they had no ability to do anything to Wang Daoyuan. After being tricked by him, the Netherworld sect still welcomed him with a smile. However, they had also learned to be smart. They no longer gave actual benefits, but blindly painted a pie in the sky. This made Wang Daoyuan feel a little regretful that he could not cheat the Netherworld sect anymore. At this moment, Zhou Luan received news from the Wuqing Pass. The Song Kingdom should have known that the three sects had suffered heavy losses and almost all their assets. They no longer wanted to slowly exhaust the three sects' cultivators. Instead, they wanted to defeat the three sects in one battle and then kill their way into the hinterland of the Zhao Kingdom, lest the Zhao family's cultivators unified the Zhao Kingdom. Then, they would have no legitimate reason to annex the Zhao Kingdom's territory. The Song Kingdom directly sent a fourth-grade flying warship to the north of the Wuqing Pass to suppress the three sects' cultivators in an attempt to completely block the logistical route between the Wuqing Pass and the Zhao Kingdom. The three sects' cultivators originally wanted to exhaust the Song Kingdom. When the Song Kingdom could not afford it, they would naturally retreat. The Zhao family would not be able to take down the three sects' mountain gates in a short time. No matter how big the trouble was, the three sects would not be destroyed. The Zhao family's cultivators used the old family's cultivators as scapegoats, which made the three sects' cultivators overjoyed. If the Zhao family wiped out these families, they would not have to worry about the old families seizing power. However, the battle at the Three River Market had made them somewhat afraid. This had already shaken the three sects' foundation. Moreover, the cultivators left behind to guard the Zhao family had taken out all their assets, but they still could not completely eliminate the Zhao family. If this continued, the three sects would really be in danger of being destroyed. The Song Kingdom's cultivators acted like they were cutting off their retreat route, forcing them to fight a decisive battle. At this moment, they had no other choice. Even if they had to give up their territory to seek peace, they had to hurt the Song Kingdom. The battle soon erupted. The Thousand Spirit Sect's cultivators took the lead. They sent out spirit birds to destroy the flying warships. They used the advantage of the spirit bird's speed to restrain the flying warships. Since they were going to fight a battle between Golden Core cultivators, they had to hide their strength as much as possible. Whoever revealed their trump cards first would be in a more passive position. The spirit bird's method of dealing with the flying warships was excellent. The flying warships of the Song Kingdom could not completely cut off the three sects' supply line. After a few days, Song Yen could no longer hold back and directly sent out Golden Core cultivators to deal with the spirit birds. Unfortunately, not all late-stage Golden Core cultivators were like the Zhao family, who could fight both humans and demonic beasts without being at a disadvantage. The Song Kingdom sent out 1 or 2 Golden Core cultivators, but they were defeated by the spirit birds sent out by the Thousand Spirit Sect. Apart from the Imperial family, the Golden Core cultivators of the other factions in the Song Kingdom were inferior to the three sects in terms of inheritance. Since everyone had the same cultivation, the level of inheritance had a great impact on their strength. The cultivators of the Song Kingdom were not as strong as the cultivators of the three sections. Song Yen no longer played with the strategy of adding fuel to the fire. He sent out 5 late-stage Golden Core cultivators to cut off the supply line. The cultivators of the three sects also knew that they could not drag this out any longer, so they decided to have a showdown with the Song Kingdom. 2 Golden Core cultivators were left to guard the Wuqing Pass. The other 13 attacked together and got rid of the 5 Golden Core cultivators of the Song Kingdom. The Golden Core cultivators of the Song State were prepared. Originally, Song Yen had brought 15 Golden Core cultivators. Originally, Song Yen had brought out 15 golden core cultivators, but now he had brought out his own backup. However, the cultivators of the three sects had refined corpses and spirit beasts. 13 cultivators, 7 spirit beasts, and 5 refined corpses. They were not at a disadvantage at all. The two sides fought for an entire day. The Song Kingdom lost 5 golden core cultivators, while the Zhao Kingdom lost 3 golden core cultivators, 1 spirit beast, and 1 refined corpse. The two sides were evenly matched. Song Yen was using this opportunity to exhaust the golden core cultivators of the other 5 factions of the Song Kingdom. He did not care about a few golden core cultivators dying. However, the three sects did not dare to drag this out and could only ask for peace. The two sides fought and stopped for more than a month before finally reaching an agreement. The three sects ceded the Wuxia Pass and the two sides stopped fighting. Chapter 611. When Wuxia Pass fell into the hands of Song, Song would have a stable north gate. Song Yen wouldn't have to worry about the cultivators of Zhao attacking his palace when he woke up. On the contrary, it would be easy for Song Yen to invade Zhao in the future. As long as he went north from Wuxia Pass, the distance between the mountains on the east and the west would become wider and wider. There would be no more dangerous passes in the entire Wuxia County. After the two sides reached an agreement, the Ghost sect gradually withdrew their cultivators. Wang Daoyuan was a little depressed when he heard the news about Wuxia Pass. The three sects lost 3 people, 1 corpse, and 1 spirit beast. The Wang Lin sect and the Ghost sect lost cultivators in the middle stage of the Golden Core realm. The Wang Lin sect and the Ghost sect both lost cultivators in the late stage of the Golden Core realm. In total, they had about 2 Lord Linhai's combat capability. Now the three sects had at least 15 or 16 Lord Linhai's combat capability. The Wang family was embarrassed. The three sects' losses were not big or small, and the gap between them and the Zhao family was narrowed. But even if the Wang family joined the Zhao family, it couldn't completely make up for the gap. No one knew whether there were still people hiding on both sides. A few days later, the Golden Core realm cultivators of the three sects returned to their sections. Zhou Wan's intelligence agency also found out that there was one more member of the Zhao family in the Wanchuan market. This person had stayed in Song for 500 years. Wang Daoyuan knew who this person was. When he was still a foundation-building cultivator, he participated in the Battle of Wuxia Pass. At that time, there was a member of the Zhao family in Song. That person's strength was not bad. He could fight with a late Golden Core realm cultivator in the Wanyang sect. The Zhao family could have one more Lord Linhai's combat capability. 3 days later, Zhou Luan's spy in the Guiyuan sword sect found another Golden Core realm cultivator. Judging from his dressing, he was from the Zhao family. Zhao Lingyan was quite respectful to him. Wang Daoyuan had long suspected that the 9th prince and the 6th prince had a backup plan in Shanbei. Zhao Lingyan and the other 2 Golden Core realm cultivators should be the 6th prince's hidden masters. This person should be the 9th prince's hidden master. The Zhao family had 2 more Lord Linhai's combat capability. The gap between the two sects was very small. After all, the three sects were 3 different families. They were not subordinate to each other. Even if a great disaster was about to befall them, it was difficult for them to work together and display their full strength. Although the Zhao clan side was divided into the Zhao clan's main branch and Linhai state's cultivators, at least they had a common emperor and a unified command, so there wouldn't be internal friction. Even if the 3 sects still had some money left, there wouldn't be much left. A few big cats and small cats wouldn't affect the overall situation. With the 9th prince's ability, 500 years ago, he had been able to fight the 3 sects for decades with people who were far weaker than them. Now that their strengths were similar, their chances of victory were very high. Now, the Wang family was the chip that would decide the state of Zhao. Whichever side they chose to side with would win. Soon after, the 9th prince sent another cultivator to visit the Jade Spring Peak. This time, the person who came was not Shi Zhenbang, but the Heiyang County Duke, Shi Zhizhong. This guy was a veteran Golden Core cultivator. His father was of the same generation as the Wang family's patriarch. Of course, in terms of seniority, It was hard to say who was higher and who was lower. The Shi family was a distant branch of the Zhou family, and Wang Daoyuan was the son-in-law of the Zhou family. In terms of seniority, Wang Daoyuan's seniority might be higher. Of course, this seniority had to be traced back to 10,000 years ago. If they were to really talk about it, there would be no end. However, he still personally welcomed Bailey and led him to the Jade Spring Peak. The 12th uncle had also returned from Qingli City and accompanied him along with his 5th uncle. Wang Daoyuan wanted to invite him to sit, but Shi Zhizhong waved his hand and said, "Little friend, there is no need for this. I am here on His Majesty's orders to invite the Wang family to deal with the rebels." The 4 of them sat facing each other. Wang Daoyuan asked, "Does His Highness the 9th Prince have any rules?" Shi Zhizhong smiled and said, "His Majesty's meaning is that the Wang family's current territory will be preserved, including the northern part of Heian County. After the rebels are dealt with, the northern part of Qingli County will also belong to the Wang family. The Wang family is like the Duke of Linhai, listening to orders but not orders. In addition, His Majesty has also promised that the Zhao family has no right to interfere in all matters within Qingli County. Duke Qingli can be conferred the title of Marquis and below within the county, His Majesty will approve of it. If the previous Duke Qingli does not commit the crime of rebellion, the Zhao family will not punish him. If he commits the crime of rebellion, he will not be killed. Only Duke Qingli himself will be deposed and Qingli County will be preserved. The Wang family will choose another clansman to inherit the throne. All treatment will not change." Finishing, he smiled and looked at the 3 people of the Wang family. These conditions were generous enough. In the future, the Wang family would basically be a small country. Even with 5th uncle and 12th uncle's calmness, their faces revealed excitement. However, Wang Daoyuan's expression was normal. He smiled and said, "The Wang family naturally does not dare to snatch Senior's fief. Senior, please report back to the 9th Prince. The Wang family can give up the northern part of Heian County and even Jinyan City, but I want the 100 Rivers Lake. In these 200 years, the Wang family's goal has always been the sky-beheading mountain range. If the Zhao family retains the territory in Luliu province, the Wang family will not be able to expand in the future." Shi Zhizhong's heart was half happy and half worried. He was happy that Wang Daoyuan had offered a condition, and the price was not too outrageous. This meant that he had agreed. Moreover, Heian County was the Shi family's fief. Although they did not have much autonomy, it was still fief. The Wang family was willing to give up the northern part of Heian County and Jinyan City, which was a great bargain for the Shi family. Jinyan City did not matter as there was not much meat around it. However, the Shannon grassland in the northern part of Heian County was the place that produced the most demonic beast meat in Zhao. It was not a small industry. However, Wang Daoyuan wanted the 100 Rivers Lake in Luliu province, which made it difficult for Shi Zhizhong. The 100 Rivers Lake and the surrounding area could support more than 200,000 wandering cultivators. There was also a secret realm under Luliu province. Its value was much higher than the northern part of Heian County. Naturally, Shi Zhizhong did not dare to make the decision. Shi Zhizhong cupped his hands and said, "I have no authority to deal with this matter. I need to report it to His Majesty." In addition, His Majesty said that if the Wang family is willing to set things right, His Majesty will personally come to Wuxia Peak to pay respects to Marquis Wuxia and the Wang family members who died in battle. Previously, they were talking about the inside. This time, they were talking about face. The 9th Prince personally paid respects to the Wang family members who died in battle, which could be considered as rectifying the Wang family's reputation. This would prevent people from using the underworld sect as an excuse. This was also the Zhao family's way of showing that they valued the Wang family. The other side had already taken out their face, so the Zhao family had to do something. Wang Daoyuan smiled. "If so, I can also give Your Majesty a gift, which is to stab the underworld sect in the back. This stab will definitely break the hearts of the underworld sect." The move he was talking about was the Gui Water Nether Spring. As long as the Yin Qi in the Darkwater River was cut off, they could spread the news. The underworld sect was not a monolithic block. Previously, Zhong Zhenyang had the intention of befriending the Wang family and leaving a way out for the Zhong family. The Yin Qi in the Darkwater River was the foundation of the underworld sect. If the Yin Qi in the Darkwater River was cut off, the underworld sect would have no future. There would be no point in guarding the underworld sect. There would definitely be golden core cultivators who would consider their own interests and contact the Zhao family. At this time, the Zhao family would offer slightly better conditions, and they might be able to attract a few golden core cultivators of the underworld sect. Shi Zhizhong was also interested. If they could really break the hearts of the underworld sect, then the strength of the three sects would be weakened by at least 10 to 20%. The Zhao family would have a clear advantage in strength. He asked curiously, "How do you do this?" "Little friend, tell me so I can report it to His Majesty." There was no need to hide this matter. Except for himself, no one knew how to deal with the Yin Qi. There was no harm in telling him. He smiled and said, "Cutting off the Yin Qi in the Darkwater River, Senior, do you think this move can break the hearts of the underworld sect? If after the Yin Qi is cut off, the Zhao family can let the underworld sect cultivators redeem themselves, and the effect should be better." Hearing this, Shi Zhizhong's face was full of shock. If this could really be done, it was possible to take away half of the golden core cultivators of the underworld sect. He quickly said, "Little friend, wait here for a moment. I will immediately return to the Wanchuan market and report this matter and the Wang family's request to His Majesty." After that, he did not care about hiding and directly rode a cloud to the south. Chapter 612. After half a day, Shi Zhizhong once again came to Yuchuan Peak. Wang Daoyuan was just about to welcome him into the hall. He waved his hand, "No need to be so polite. His Majesty has already agreed to the Wang family's request. The north of Heiyang Prefecture will be temporarily managed by the Wang family. Jinyan City will be included in Duke Qingli's territory. Baichuan Lake and the nearby areas will also be included in Qingli Prefecture. However, the country hasn't been recovered yet. His Majesty still needs Lulu Province to provide resources. When the capital is recovered, Lulu Province will be given to the Wang family. 3 days later, His Majesty will bring the Crown Prince and Minister Zong to Yuchuan Peak to pay respects to Marquis Yuchuan. At that time, he will also bring along the royal decree and robes for little friend to be Duke Qingli. However, now is a special time. Everything will be simple. Little friend, please don't be offended." Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "It's all right. Right now, we should prioritize the restoration of our country." After exchanging some pleasantries, Shi Zhizhong left Yuchuan Peak with the excuse that he had important matters to attend to. After the Three River Market Square was defeated, the Zhao family lost more than half of their cultivators. Most of the families that were forced to surrender went back into the arms of the three sections. The Zhao family's resources mainly came from Linhai Prefecture. Lulu Province was also an important logistics base. Naturally, they couldn't hand it over to the Wang family now. The north of Heiyang Prefecture was given to the Wang family as a mortgage. After the Wang family gets Lulu Province, they will return the north of Heiyang Prefecture. As for the rights of giving land, they didn't care. As long as the royal decree was in their hands, they would have a reason to take over these territories. Wang Daoyuan wasn't afraid that they wouldn't acknowledge it. With the remaining power of the Zhao family, even after recovering the Zhao country, they could barely maintain it. Song had already taken down Wuqing Pass. However, after years of war, they lost a lot of manpower. Qi, Chu, and Wu were also eyeing them from behind. They didn't want to fight to the death with the three sects and let the Zhao family take advantage of them. With Song Yan's personality, once he recovers, he will still attack Zhao. The normal people and low-level cultivators of the Zhao family were all wiped out 500 years ago. Right now, the place with the most Zhao family members was Linhai State. The Zhao family did not have enough ordinary clansmen and low-level cultivators to support them. After the current golden core cultivators passed away, they could not be quickly replenished. For a long time to come, the number of golden core cultivators would slowly decrease. Only with enough ordinary clansmen could there be more cultivator clansmen. Only when there were enough cultivators could there be more clansmen with extraordinary talent and the potential to form their gold core. It would take at least 1,000 years to restore the number of ordinary clansmen and low-level cultivators to what it was before the rebellion of the three sections. By the same logic, it would take thousands of years for the number of Oris core cultivators to return to its previous level. Before this, the Zhao family could only rely on the various nobles to help protect the Zhao country. Once the Zhao family went back on their word, the nobles with different surnames might become disloyal, and there might even be internal strife. The Zhao family couldn't afford to pay such a price. After Wang Daoyuan obtained the medical legacy from the Zhou nation, the Wang family had developed rapidly over the years. The number of ordinary clansmen had already exceeded 500,000. There were already more than 1,200 cultivators. In the future, as their territory expanded, the growth rate of their clansmen would also become faster and faster. 1,000 years later, it wasn't certain who would be afraid of whom. Wang Daoyuan ordered the clansmen to start preparing for the worship in 3 days. 3 days later, a flying warship and 2 flying boats took off from Wanchuan Market and headed towards Yuchuan Peak. When they were 100 miles south of Yuchuan Peak, the 9th prince, dressed in royal robes, stepped off the flying warship and personally rode a cloud towards Yuchuan Peak. This was the etiquette of a golden core cultivator visiting a mountain. It was enough to give the Wang family face. He was accompanied by Zhao Jinghua and an early-stage golden core cultivator. This person's appearance was quite similar to the 9th prince. He was a mid-stage golden core cultivator. He didn't look old and didn't have any obvious signs of decay. He also wore royal robes and a crown on his head. This was the attire of the crown prince. He should be the 9th prince's eldest son, Zhao Qingxian. Wang Daoyuan, 5th granduncle, and 12th uncle also came out of the mountain to welcome them. They bowed to the 3 of them and said, "Your Majesty, Your Highness the Crown Prince." As golden core cultivators, Wang Daoyuan and 12th uncle didn't need to kneel. 5th granduncle was a late-stage Violet Palace realm cultivator, so he still needed to kneel. However, the 9th prince waved his hand and said, "There's no need to be so polite." Wang Daoyuan and the other 2 led the way at the front. The warship was parked 100 miles away. 2 flying boats with offerings on them followed at the back. When they arrived at Yuchuan Peak, a dozen or so Violet Palace realm cultivators of the Zhao clan alighted from the flying boat and carried all kinds of offerings. At the very front was a pig, a cow, and a sheep. They were all 3rd-grade low-grade demon beasts. The 9th prince and the other 2 entered the Wang family's ancestral shrine. The Zhao clan members behind them placed the offerings on the table. Zhao Jinghua read the memorial speech and praised the contributions of the Wang clan's ancestor and the Wang clan members who died in battle. After the ceremony, Zhao Jinghua read the edict conferring Wang Daoyuan the title of Duke Qingli in front of the Wang clan's ancestral shrine. The Zhao clan had lost almost all of its members. The only cultivator familiar with the etiquette was Zhao Jinghua. Thus, these matters were all left to him. After the edict was read, a few Violet Palace realm cultivators of the Zhao clan walked out from the 2 flying boats. They held the imperial edict in their hands, a yellow book that recorded the population and land. Of course, this yellow book was empty. The Zhao clan had been lost for more than 500 years. They knew nothing of the situation in the Qingli prefecture. There was also a white robe and a 9-headed crown. The crown was mainly black with golden decorations. The 9-headed crown had 9 strings of jade beads at the front and back, each string having 9 jade beads. The emperor's 12 strings each had 12 jade beads. Behind it was the white jade royal seal and a high-grade 3rd-grade longsword. Its name was Duke Qingli's sword. These 2 items represented authority. The last item was the red ink iron certificate. It was shaped like a tile. It was 1 foot tall, 2 feet long, and 1 inch thick. It was forged from 4th-grade low-grade black jade iron, and the words on it were embedded with 4th-grade low-grade silverlight iron. In addition to the content of the words, there was also a record of the 9th prince's promise. It was a certificate. Several members of the Zhao clan put the robe on Wang Daoyuan. Zhao Jinghua personally put on the crown for him and hung the Duke Qingli's sword. Finally, The Zhao Emperor personally bestowed the royal seal and the red ink iron certificate. The ceremony was over. Except for the 9th prince and Zhao Qingxian, everyone else bowed to Wang Daoyuan. Then 2 more groups of people walked down from the 2 flying boats. They were holding all kinds of ceremonial items, all of which were level 3 artifacts. This set of items was the honor of the county king. In the Green Willow province, it was impossible to have the duke's honor. It was most likely taken from the Duke of Linhai. After the ceremony was over, Wang Daoyuan led the Zhao clan to the auditorium. Everyone sat down in the manner of a ruler and a subject. The Zhao emperor asked, "I heard the River Sun Duke say that the duke can cut off the Yin Qi of the Netherworld sect." Wang Daoyuan cupped his hands and said, "Reporting to your majesty, from the travels of an ancient Jindan cultivator, this subject learned about the source of the Yin Qi of Mingshui River. When this subject was still a foundation establishment cultivator, I went to search for treasures and left some things there. At that time, the Yin Qi of the Netherworld sect disappeared for a few years. The higher-ups of the Netherworld sect pretended that there was a high-grade spirit medicine that needed pure Yin Qi to nourish. They asked the affiliated families to help find a place with pure Yin Qi. The Zhao emperor nodded. "I heard about this matter. At that time, I guessed that there might be a problem with the Mingshui River. I didn't expect it to be the duke's doing." Wang Daoyuan continued, "This subject can lead the source of the Yin Qi elsewhere. At that time, the Mingshui River will never have Yin Qi." The Zhao emperor asked with satisfaction, "When can the Yin Qi of the Mingshui River be cut off?" Wang Daoyuan replied, "Your Majesty only needs to give me 3 days. However, I can now release the news that the Yin Qi of the Mingshui River is about to disappear. In this way, the deterrent effect on the Jindan cultivators of the Netherworld sect will be stronger." The Zhao emperor stroked his long beard. "The duke is really thoughtful. With such a wonderful plan, it won't take long for the people of the Netherworld sect to panic. By the way, I have several granddaughters of the Zifu realm. They are just over 100 years old. I don't know if the duke has the intention to marry." Chapter 613. Wang Daoyuan muttered in his heart, "This Emperor Zhao is not honest. He just gave me the title of duke, and now he wants to kill me with a borrowed knife." With Zhou Luan's jealousy, not to mention marrying a wife, even marrying a concubine would result in his death. However, not marrying the Zhao clan is not realistic. The Wang clan has so much autonomy. If they don't marry the Zhao clan, they won't be at ease. The good thing about having many people in the clan is that they have many shields. It's not like no one in the Wang clan is worthy of Emperor Zhao's Zifu granddaughter. For example, little uncle Wang Shouzhe and grandnephew Wang Mingshan are both in the Zifu realm. In terms of formations and alchemy, they are both in the Zifu realm. Marrying the Zhao clan's granddaughter is a bit lacking, but marrying a concubine's child is not a problem. Moreover, the best candidate for the next clan head is Wang Mingshan. His marriage with the Zhao clan is also more suitable. As for Duke Qingli's heir, it's naturally his son. Duke Qingli's estate can't completely overlap with the clan. There has to be a distinction between inside and outside. In the future, his line will be in charge of the duke's estate. Wang Daoyuan cupped his hands and said, "Your Majesty, I have no intention of marrying at the moment. However, Wang clan's grand elder Wang Mingshan is the great-grandson of my brother in the secular world. He is now 160 years old. When he opened his Zifu, the jade-scaled flood dragon phenomenon appeared. He is also a third-stage alchemist. For both public and private reasons, I will do my best to nurture him into core formation. I wonder if your Majesty is interested in him?" Emperor Zhao stroked his long beard and said with a smile, "The jade-scaled flood dragon phenomenon is also a good seedling for core formation. He is also a close blood relative of the Duke and a third-stage alchemist. He is enough for my granddaughter. When the war is over, the marriage will be bestowed. What does the Duke think about the future war? Should we attack the Three River Market or attack the important industries first to exhaust the three sects' strength?" This is to test Wang Daoyuan's knowledge and see how capable he is. Wang Daoyuan replied, "In my opinion, the Three River Market cannot be rashly attacked. The Three River Market is at the intersection of the three sects' territories and is not far from the old capital of Zhao. His Majesty's prestige in the old family is extremely high. If we capture this place, we will be able to recover the old capital. The old families under the three sects will have thoughts of returning to our side. It was so obvious that the three sects could naturally see it. The moment we touch the Three River Market, the three sects will definitely fight us with all their might. Now, both sides were equally matched. Once the final battle began, even if they won, they would suffer heavy casualties. They would no longer be able to take down the three sects, and they would not be able to complete the great task of reviving their country. If Song and Wei were to attack again, the state of Zhao would be in danger. Right now, in terms of the top fighters on both sides, we have His Majesty, Minister Zong, and the Sixth Prince. On the side of the three sects, Daoist Jinyang of the Cruel Sun Palace was heavily injured, and the Cruel Sun Sword was also severely damaged. Only Zhong Zhenyang of the Underworld sect and Immortal Yulong of the Thousand Spirits sect were the two top combatants. If it had been at the Three River Market, the Underworld Water Black Turtle of the Thousand Spirits sect would have been much more powerful and would have been able to withstand His Majesty's seal of mountains and rivers. Even Zhong Jingqin would find it difficult to take it down in the Three River Market. The three sects only have three top combatants. Our advantage would be gone, and we would not necessarily be able to win. Hearing this, the Zhao Emperor was somewhat doubtful. Daoist Jinyang and Immortal Yulong are very powerful. This I know. Even Imperial Uncle could not easily defeat them. But Zhong Zhenyang has always been unknown. Where is his strength? Wang Daoyuan replied. At that time, Zhong Zhenyang came to the Jade Spring Peak and wanted me to go to Wuxing Pass, but I refused. At that time, he had the intention of leaving a way out for the Zhong family, and he also revealed that he had a minor divine ability. Minor divine abilities are also divided into strong and weak ones. Even I dare not confirm Zhong Zhenyang's true strength. Zhao Jinghua opened his mouth. I have not comprehended a minor divine ability. If Zhong Zhenyang's minor divine ability is more powerful, I really would not be able to defeat him. This time, it was Wang Daoyuan's turn to be surprised. He had not comprehended a minor divine ability, yet he had this kind of strength. If he comprehended a minor divine ability, in a battle of the same level, perhaps his strength would be above master. The Zhao Emperor asked, since this Zhong Zhenyang has the intention of leaving a way out, can we rope him in? Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, this is what this subject wants to report to His Majesty. In this subject's opinion, this time, to pacify the three sects, we cannot rely on brute force. We must also divide the three sections. This subject will cut off the yin qi of the Netherworld River, making the hearts of the people of the Netherworld sect unstable. His Majesty will then allow the cultivators of the three sects to redeem themselves, which can indeed move the Zhong family. But to make Zhong Zhenyang directly join us, it is still a bit lacking. We can attack the 9 underworld mysterious crystal mine again, and with the help of this fire. The yin qi of the Netherworld sect only comes from the Netherworld River and the mysterious Netherworld crystal mine. After cutting off the Netherworld River, the Netherworld sect will never give up this place. The Netherworld sect alone will definitely not be able to defend it. They must ask for help from the other two sections. After all, the three sects are not monolithic. The Myriad Spirit sect and the Cruel Sun Palace will inevitably rely on the Netherworld sect to exhaust our thoughts. We will then send out low-level cultivators to harass the industries of the other two sects, so that they will not dare to pull most of the Golden Core cultivators to the mysterious Netherworld crystal mine. In this way, we can maintain our advantage over the mysterious Netherworld crystal mine and slowly exhaust the Golden Core cultivators of the three sections. When our Golden Core cultivators have a greater advantage, we will directly take the mysterious Netherworld crystal mine and force the Netherworld sect to surrender. When the Netherworld sect surrenders, our strength will be far superior to the other two sections. When the time comes, we can recruit them and at least poach a few Golden Core cultivators. In this way, after quelling the rebellion, the strength of our Zhao state will be able to maintain an advantage over the Song and Wei states. It will be enough to make the other two countries not dare to rashly invade the state of Zhao and buy time for the state of Zhao to recover its strength. After a few hundred years of stable development, the state of Zhao will be able to restore the strength of a first-rate country. Hearing this, the Zhao Emperor's face was difficult to conceal the excitement on his face. If so, then the recovery of the state of Zhao and the revival of the glory of our ancestors is just around the corner. As for the matter of recruiting the Netherworld sect, I will have to trouble the Duke. You can make any promises to the cultivators of the 3 sections. As long as they can abandon the darkness and join the light, I will let bygones be bygones and give them spiritual mountains to establish their families. If they can turn the tables and strike back, they will be bestowed with titles and lands, and can even be given a dukedom. The Zhao Emperor's magnanimity was not something the 6th prince could compare to. He could even promise a dukedom to the golden core cultivators of the 3 sects who had a grudge against the extermination of their clans. As for the 6th prince, he could only promise a marquis to the Wang family. Wang Daoyuan bowed and saluted. This subject obeys the duke's orders. The Zhao Emperor nodded. The matter of cutting off the yin qi of the Netherworld River will be handed over to the duke. I will return to the Wanchuan market first and start spreading rumors to harass the businesses of the 3 sections. Wang Daoyuan and the other 2 escorted the Zhao Emperor and the Zhao family to the south of the Jade Spring Peak before returning to the Jade Spring Peak. On the flying warship, the Zhao Emperor asked the Crown Prince, Qingxian, what do you think of Duke Qingli's plan? Why didn't we think of it? Zhao Qingxian pondered for a moment before answering. This plan seems simple, but it is indeed very effective. The most important part of this plan is to be able to cut off the yin qi of the Netherworld River. If we can't do this, the Netherworld sect can completely ignore our attack on the 9 underworld mysterious crystal mine. No matter how many plans we have, it will be difficult to implement. We don't know how to cut off the yin qi of the Netherworld River, and we don't know the internal situation of the Netherworld sect. It is normal that we can't think of this plan. If Duke Qingli's plan succeeds, our Zhao family will lose less than half of our golden core cultivators. Otherwise, even if our Zhao family succeeds in reviving the country, it will be difficult to defend our foundation. With the price of a county in Qingli County, the Zhao family can revive the country. Moreover, Qingli County can help us block the beast tide of the sky-chopping mountain range. We won't lose out. The Zhao Emperor's face revealed a gratified expression. I am very gratified that you can see this point. At least after reviving the country, you can defend the foundation of your ancestors. We all know the situation of the administrator's residence. Wang Daoyuan is not a person who is greedy for power. His thoughts should be on cultivation. His connections are very wide, so we must not suppress him. On the contrary, we can use his relationship with the Divine Weapon Pavilion to buy more high-level magic tools and strengthen the Zhao family. When he is gone, our Zhao family will be able to catch a breather. At that time, with our Zhao family's inheritance, the Wang family will naturally not dare to act rashly. Chapter 614. After sending off the Zhao family, Wang Daoyuan gave the 12th uncle the task of changing the Wang family. Actually, it wasn't a big deal. Changing the name of the original administrator's residence to the Duke's residence was enough. He just told the families in his jurisdiction that in the future, Yannan County would be changed back to Qingli County. Wang Daoyuan would be conferred the title of Duke by the Zhao family and would have the power to confer the title of Marquis in Qingli County. This was also to tell the families that those who were obedient had the possibility of being conferred the title of Marquis in the future. Those who were disobedient would die immediately. Ever since that year, the families didn't dare to go against the administrator's residence. These families weren't the filial sons and grandsons of the Netherworld sect. The old families were already dissatisfied with the Netherworld sect. The foreign families treated their milk as their mother and wouldn't have any loyalty to the Netherworld sect. Once the Duke's residence's order was sent out, the families immediately stated that they would obey the Duke's residence's orders and draw a clear line with the Netherworld sect. Also, they sent people to take over the territory in the southern part of Qingli County. That place had been swept by the 6th prince and now many of the spiritual mountains were empty. It was a waste to leave it empty like this. It was better to send people to take it. The more valuable spiritual mountains would be left for their families and the less valuable ones would be left for their subordinates. After dealing with these matters, Wang Daoyuan returned to the underground cave. Zhou Luan saw his royal robe and smiled. People rely on clothes, horses rely on saddles, dogs run happily with bells. Wearing this outfit, you really do look like a dog. I say, Hallmaster, you praise people with a stick? Zhou Luan mocked and ridiculed. Does the county king find my words unpleasant? Then why didn't you marry the Zhao family's granddaughter? That's a princess, a county princess. She's perfect as a Wangfei. Wang Daoyuan smiled. You're still so jealous. What princess? County princess can't compare to Hallmaster. You're the Wangfei of Qingli County. Then what about my phoenix coronet and robe? The outside world doesn't know of your existence? The Zhao family is already in this situation. It's already not bad that they can gather my coronet. After the country was restored, the phoenix coronet and robes would naturally be sent over. Besides, when the princess consort came out into the open, there was no need for the state of Zhao to give her a phoenix coronet. That eldest nephew of mine will definitely send you the phoenix coronet and robe. Most likely, the Zhou emperor will also give you the title of princess or infanta. Let's not talk about these things for now. Once the war starts, we don't know when we'll be free. Let's make the best use of our time to cultivate. He carried Zhou Luan into the house, and she did not resist. Only then did Wang Daoyuan let out a sigh of relief. The issue of the marriage alliance with the Zhao family had finally passed. As for the matter of the Gui water nether spring, it would be handled by Cui Ming, who was overseeing the northern branch of the Blood Shadow Mountain. Anyway, it wasn't a big deal. He just had to open a big hole in the water storage space and draw the water out. In order to remove the yin qi from the Darkwater River, he only needed to draw out a portion of the spring water from the Gui water nether spring. The remaining spring water did not have enough pressure, so it would be fine if it did not gush up. A day later, Zhou Luan received the news that the yin qi from the Netherworld sect's Darkwater River had disappeared, which spread throughout half of the Zhao country. Soon, Cui Ming's clone also returned to the range of Wang Daoyuan's panoramic perception. Wang Daoyuan checked his memories. The matter had been completed. Cui Ming had cut a hole with a diameter of more than 3 feet above the water storage space. Wang Daoyuan also sent a message to the Zhao emperor, saying that the matter of the source of the yin qi from the Darkwater River had been resolved. After half a month, Zhou Luan's intelligence showed that the Netherworld sect's disciples below the Golden Core stage had begun to panic. Even some Purple Mansion elders from old families had begun to express goodwill to Wang Daoyuan through various channels. A month later, Luo Jiuyo sent a message to Wang Daoyuan, making a promise. As long as Wang Daoyuan could restore the yin qi from the Darkwater River, after the 3 sects destroyed the Zhao family, Qingli County and Heiyang County would be handed over to the Wang family. Moreover, the position of sect master of the Netherworld sect would be given to him. Wang Daoyuan didn't believe the nonsense of the Netherworld sect. These bastards even wanted to suppress the cultivators of their own family, let alone an outsider like him. Let's not talk about others. Just take Zhou Qi for example. 200 years ago, he was already a Purple Mansion realm cultivator and served as the guardian of Qingli Market. At that time, he was at most 100 years old. Back then, when he participated in the duel between the 2 sects at Pine Elm Mountain, he beat up the middle Purple Mansion realm cultivator of the setting Sun Palace. Although his talent wasn't top-notch, he was definitely a first-rate genius. If such a talent was placed in another power, he would be a golden core seedling that was heavily nurtured. Now that he was 300 years old, he should have formed his core long ago. But now, nearly 200 years had passed, and he had just reached the late Purple Mansion realm. The promises of the Netherworld sect's golden core cultivators couldn't be trusted. Wang Daoyuan directly sent a message back, rejecting Luo Jiuyo. In any case, his own clansmen who had joined the Netherworld sect had been transferred to Qingli Market by Wang Daoyuan as the Grand Elder of the Netherworld sect when the administrator's office was established. Luo Jiuyo wanted to disgust him, but he couldn't find a way. A few days later, Zhong Yaoting, Zhong Zhenyang's grandnephew, sent a message to Wang Daoyuan. He didn't say anything, but just wanted to get close to him. He thanked Wang Daoyuan for giving him the corpse core, which helped him to form his core successfully. This was a show of goodwill, which meant that some of the high-level golden core cultivators of the Netherworld sect were also uneasy. 3 days later, Gu Wangzong also sent a message to talk about their previous friendship. Wang Daoyuan had a lot of dealings with him, since he helped the Netherworld sect refine the flying boat when he was in the Foundation establishment stage. After forming his core, Gu Wangzong would come to the administrator's office to discuss anything that happened to the Netherworld sect. Of the 4 lineal families of the Netherworld sect, the Luo family held the power of the Netherworld sect, so they were naturally unwilling to surrender. The only remaining golden core cultivator of the Ming family died in the battle at Wucheng Pass, so there was no one from the Ming family in the high-level management. However, Ming Huai, who had dealt with Wang Daoyuan, still sent a message. Of the 4 lineal families of the Netherworld sect, 3 of them had the idea of leaving a way out. The entire Netherworld sect had already lost its people. After all, the Yin Qi was gone, and the Netherworld sect had no future. It was meaningless to continue to hold on. Even if they could survive this disaster, they would still fall apart in the future. Emperor Zhao's promise had also been announced to the whole country. Except for the Luo family, no one was willing to continue to fight. Wang Daoyuan immediately sent a message to Emperor Zhao, informing him of this matter. Now it was time to attack the mysterious crystal mine and force the Netherworld sect to surrender. Emperor Zhao was also very decisive. He immediately mobilized his forces and gathered them in Golden Gu City. Golden Gu City was only 10,000 miles away from the mysterious crystal mine, and it was a fortress, so it was heavily guarded. It was extremely suitable to use it as a logistics base. On the side of Shanbei Guiyuan Sword Sect, Zhao Lingyan also rushed to Golden Goose City with 4 third-order flying warships and a dozen flying boats. Now the 3 forces of Golden Goose City were gathered together, and they were not subordinate to each other, so it was inevitable that there would be conflicts. Wang Daoyuan, as the master of Golden Goose City, naturally had to go and take charge. He brought 5 third-order flying warships. Half of the warships were controlled by the cultivators of the Battle Division, and the other half by the Devil-Slaying Division. Among the cultivators of the Battle Division, there were also some members of the Wang family, and the rest were members of various families. The cultivators of the Devil-Slaying Division were basically rogue cultivators. The members of the Wang family, the families of Qingli County, and the rogue cultivators were the main factions under the command of the Duke Mansion. With such an arrangement, all the factions under the command of the Duke Mansion had people participating in the battle. After arriving at Golden Goose City, Wang Daoyuan, as the Duke Mansion, was second only to Emperor Zhao and the Crown Prince in the Zhao family. Naturally, he was in command of Golden Goose City, and Zhao Lingyan had no objection. Wanchuan Market sent a lot of people, led by Zhao Jinghua, Zhao Lingjiang, Gu Qingfeng, and 2 late Jindan stage cultivators of Linhai State. The arrival of these people was within Wang Daoyuan's expectation. After all, the strength of Zhong Zhenyang of the Netherworld sect was extremely high. If there were no top masters, they would not be able to resist. If Zhong Zhenyang seized the opportunity to kill a few Jindan stage cultivators of the Zhao family, things would be troublesome. To Wang Daoyuan's surprise, the 6th prince also came to Golden Goose City. After asking around, he found out that this guy volunteered to come. After the 9th prince succeeded the throne, he did not treat him unfairly and conferred him the title of Marquisian. It seemed that he really wanted to make some contributions and become a duke in the future. Chapter 6:15. After everyone arrived, the Golden Core cultivators came to the Golden Goose City Guard Mansion to discuss the specific arrangements for attacking the mysterious crystal vein. As soon as Gu Qingfeng entered the meeting hall with 2 Linhai State Golden Core cultivators, he said with a smile, "At first, I wanted to force the County King to join the Zhao family, but I couldn't. The County King's strength is also far beyond ordinary people. Although this old man's strength is not first class among the Golden Core late-stage cultivators, it is above average. I didn't expect that I couldn't take down the County King, a golden core middle stage cultivator. I'm afraid it won't be long before the county king's strength surpasses this old man. The younger generation is really formidable. At this time, Zhao Jinghua came in with 4 people from the Zhao family. They cupped their hands to Wang Daoyuan. The 6th prince's title was only a marquis, so naturally, it couldn't be compared to Wang Daoyuan's county king. Zhao Jinghua's title was dukan, but as Zong Jingqing, he had the power to govern the Zhao family. The Zhao family's marquis had to salute him. However, Wang Daoyuan's surname wasn't Zhao, so Zong Jingqing couldn't control him. Zhao Jinghua could only salute him. Of course, Wang Daoyuan didn't put on airs and also saluted back respectfully. After everyone sat down, Zhao Jinghua said with a smile, "As the saying goes, a snake can't do without a head. This attack on the mysterious crystal vein is the county king's plan. His Majesty wants the county king to have full command, and we just need to cooperate. What do you think, Daoyu?" Since Emperor Zhao spoke, the others naturally didn't dare to say anything. Wang Daoyuan didn't dare to directly answer. Most of the cultivators present were from the same era as his ancestor, and his cultivation was still the lowest. Even if they didn't say it, they were still unhappy. When fighting, the most afraid of conflicts between family members. Not to mention others, the 6th prince was staring at him with a face full of hatred. Wang Daoyuan hurriedly declined, "I'm a junior, and I've just turned over to the light. I'm afraid it's difficult to convince the public. Let's ask Zong Jingqing to command." Minister Zong said solemnly, "The county king has presented a plan to pacify the bandits for his Majesty and cut off the source of the Yinqi in Mingshui River. In terms of merit, he is greater than us. Even the plan to attack the mysterious crystal vein of the 9th underworld was proposed by the 2nd-rank prince. Who would dare to disagree?" No one dared to object. Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "Thank you for your trust, Your Majesty. I am willing to manage this matter. It's just that I have never commanded such a large battle before, so I would like to invite Minister Zong to be my assistant. I have a lot to learn from you." He couldn't command the Zhao family, and the cultivators of Linhai Prefecture didn't have much of a relationship with him. If he didn't find a well-respected deputy, he really wouldn't be able to hold on. Zhao Jinghua did not have any objections, so it was decided. Jinyan City, as the logistical material gathering point of this battle, also needed to be guarded by someone. The purpose of Wang Daoyuan attacking the Netherworld crystal mine was to wait for an opportunity to kill the gold core cultivators of the 3 major sects and destroy the last bit of courage of the Netherworld sect. This kind of battle required powerful cultivators to take part in it. Other than Gu Chengfeng, the other 2 gold core cultivators of Linhai Prefecture were not very powerful. They were scared out of their wits in the battle of the 3-river market. It was not very useful to let them go to the front line, so one person could guard Jinyan City and the other one could protect the supply line in the rank 4 flying warship. Even if the cultivators of the 3 sects attacked the rear, with the gold core cultivators, they could delay a lot of time for the people at the front line to come back. After settling the rear, Wang Daoyuan, Gu Chengfeng and the 4 gold core cultivators of the Zhao family led a group of cultivators below the gold core level to the mysterious crystal mine. More than 2,000 miles to the east of the mysterious crystal mine, there was a mountain with a radius of more than 200 miles called Guiyuan Mountain. There was a rank 3 upper spirit vein on the mountain. This was the location of the Guiyuan sword sect before the rebellion of the 3 sections. After the 3 sects destroyed the Guiyuan sword sect, the Netherworld sect also stationed a lot of cultivators here to protect the mysterious crystal mine. The people of the Zhao family started to gather at Jinyan City half a month ago. It was obvious that they were going to attack the mysterious crystal mine. Once the army arrived, the Guiyuan Mountain would not be able to withstand it no matter how many people there were. It was better to withdraw their forces and honestly guard the mysterious crystal mine. Therefore, there was no defensive force at Guiyuan Mountain. Wang Daoyuan and the others were directly stationed at Guiyuan Mountain. The Zifu realm cultivators were in charge of setting up formations and other things. According to the information from Zhouluan, the Netherworld sect had sent 3 gold core cultivators to guard the mine. They were Zhong Jinyang Luo Jiuyo and one of the 2 grand elders of the Luo family, Luo Jiu. This Luo Juyu was more than 800 years old. He was extremely low-key and usually cultivated in the Netherworld sect's mountain gate. If there were no major events, he almost never showed his face. Previously, at Wuching Pass, he only sent a rank 4 upper refined corpse and did not make a move himself. Wang Daoyuan was not sure how powerful this person was. However, the strength of the Netherworld sect cultivators would be reduced in the hands of the Zhao family. Unless he had a minor divine ability, it was unlikely that he would be stronger than Zhao Lingjiang. In the case of equal cultivation, it would depend on whose cultivation method and dharma spells were superior. The Zhao family's inheritance came from the ancient cultivators. For 10,000 years, the Zhao family had maintained around 30 gold core cultivators. With so many people improving and sufficient resources to support, the level of the inheritance was naturally very high. Since they wanted to destroy the last bit of courage of the Netherworld sect, they naturally could not just wait. Now that the reinforcements of the Cruel Sun Palace and the Thousand Spirits sect had not arrived, they seized the opportunity to show off their strength first. Zhao Lingyan stayed behind to guard Beiyuan Mountain. Wang Daoyuan and the other 4 gold core cultivators took 6 rank 3 flying warships and headed for the mysterious crystal mine. There were no mountain ranges where the mine was located. There were only a few small hills more than 1,000 feet tall and a rank 3 middle underground spirit vein. The mine was more than 60,000 feet deep and extended more than 100 miles from north to south. With the mine being so deep underground, apart from Wang Daoyuan who had the Guiyuan flame, even a half-step Yuanying would not be able to disturb the mine. The Netherworld sect had set up a rank 3 middle defensive formation along the spirit vein. At the entrance of the mine, they used a formation plate to set up a rank 4 defensive formation. The 5 gold core cultivators came near the entrance of the mine. Zhao Lingjiang took out his natal dharma artifact and used the Gui Water Thunder Sword to slash at the rank 3 middle defensive formation. His sword was enough to kill an ordinary late-stage gold core cultivator. A mere rank 3 defensive formation was not worth mentioning at all. With one slash, the defensive light shield shattered. Wang Daoyuan and the other 4 blocked the entrance of the mine. The 6 flying warships that accompanied them quickly went over to attack the eye of the rank 3 defensive formation. As long as all the eye of the formation was destroyed, the Netherworld sect would not be able to repair the formation. To set up the formation again, even with the help of many formation masters, it would take 10 days to half a month. Then, Wang Daoyuan and the others began to use their own spells to attack the rank 4 upper defensive formation at the entrance of the mine. Wang Daoyuan used the Sword Shadow Divine Light technique, and 10 sword shadows attacked the formation continuously. When they ran out of spiritual power, they flew back to replenish their spiritual power. If this defensive formation was permanent and set up on a rank 4 spirit vein, it would be impossible to break through like this. However, this formation was set up with a formation disc. If this continued, the disc would definitely shatter within 3 days. Soon, an angry roar came from within the mine. The Zhao clan scoundrels have gone too far. Wang Daoyuan, you heartless thing. My Netherworld sect has never treated you unfairly. Why are you siding with the Zhao clan? This voice naturally belonged to Luo Jiuyo. Others would not be so thick-skinned. They had bullied the Wang clan for hundreds of years, and they still had the nerve to say that they had never treated them unfairly. Wang Daoyuan used the 5 elements Devil Suppression Seal and smashed it directly at the defensive formation. The defensive light shield shook, but it was not damaged. He mocked, "You forced me to hand over my fortune. You gave me the 5 elements Devil Suppression Seal in 2 parts, with a sinister move that could take my life. If not for Master Lei Yen seeing that something was wrong, I would have been killed by your schemes. When I reached the late Zifu disciple stage, you sent my Wang clan's Zifu disciple to a dangerous place that was unsuitable for cultivation. My Wang clan only wanted to develop properly. We never had the ambition to overthrow the Netherworld sect, but you just had to force our hand. Even now, you still have the nerve to say that you have never treated me unfairly. Luo Jiuyo, you despicable person. Do you dare fight with me?" Chapter 616. Luo Jiuyou didn't dare to answer. Wang Daoyuan had captured Zhao Lingyan, who was in the later stage of the Golden Core realm, and almost captured Gu Changqing. Those 2 times could be said to be sneak attacks, but facing Gu Chengfeng, who was in the later stage of the Golden Core realm, this was real ability. Half of the strength of the local cultivators of the ghost sect was in refining corpses or raising ghosts. He wasn't good enough in a one-on-one battle. Plus, Red Wing Wu Tianke had the inheritance of the ghost sect, so it was useless for him to release the corpses. Luo Jiuyou didn't dare to answer. Gu Chengfeng began to mock him. Luo, the ghost sect is not a small golden core power. Ruling 1/3 of the territory of the state of Zhao, is that all? I remember that the first time the county king used the Tsang Dragon Pearl in public was at Wuqing Pass. At that time, he was still a foundation establishment cultivator. As the sect leader of a golden core power, you schemed against a foundation establishment cultivator. You're really shameless. The county king has made a lot of contributions to the ghost sect, so he has to keep some tricks when giving rewards. Such a sect can survive until now. You're really capable. You're afraid of the county king's golden crow. I'm an earth element cultivator, so I can't restrain you. Why don't we have a fight? Luo Jiuyou was speechless. Gu Chengfeng's strength wasn't weak, and he was proficient in escape techniques. Even if Luo Jiuyou released the corpses, he wasn't sure he could win. He didn't dare to answer. Gu Chengfeng was even more enthusiastic. We're all people of the same generation as Marquis Yuchuan. The county king is only 200 years old, and his cultivation is lower than yours. You don't even have the courage to face him, and you still have the face to call us cowards. I think the ghost sect is a nest of cowards. Wang Daoyuan and Gu Chengfeng mocked him, but they didn't stop attacking the array. Moreover, when they shouted, they even used spiritual sense and spiritual power. With the strength of the later stage of the Golden Core realm, it wasn't a problem for the words to spread hundreds of miles away. This was also part of the psychological attack. Luo Jiuyou's psychological endurance wasn't very good, so he didn't dare to answer Wang Daoyuan and Gu Chengfeng. The 5 of them chatted and laughed as they attacked the formation. Even the 6th prince was working very hard. However, Wang Daoyuan felt that there was something wrong with this guy. When he looked at others, there was always a hint of hatred on his face. Wang Daoyuan couldn't care less about the Zhao family's domestic affairs, so he just let them be. They were attacking the defensive formation here just to intimidate the underworld sect. Now was not the time to take the mine. Therefore, the attacks were intermittent. After 10 to 12 hours, 3 auspicious clouds floated over from the west of the mine. It was obvious that the reinforcements from the 3 sects had arrived. Another 3 golden core cultivators came to support the other side. Including the 3 people hiding in the mine, the other side had 6 golden core cultivators. Furthermore, with a pinnacle expert like Zhong Zhenyang around, it was hard to say how strong Luo Jiuyou was. If one of the cultivators who came to support was Zhenren Yulong, the 5 of them would not be able to take advantage of him. Wang Daoyuan transmitted his voice to the other 4. The enemy's situation is unknown. Let the cultivators below Golden Core retreat to Primordial Mountain to recuperate first. We will make plans after exploring the situation. The others had no objection. Wang Daoyuan sent a message to the flying warships, telling them to return to Primordial Mountain. The Third Order flying warships were not slow. Soon, they fled 200 to 300 miles away. The 3 auspicious clouds were also relatively close. This place was too close to the mine. If they fought here, it would be easy to be sneak attacked by the Underworld sect's Golden Core cultivators. He ordered the Golden Core cultivators to retreat 200 miles to the east. The 6th prince took the lead and ran at the front. Wang Daoyuan felt comfortable at that time. He secretly said in his heart, "This is the long-legged prince I know." The 4 of them also followed closely behind the 6th prince. The auspicious clouds coming from the west did not stop at the mine. Instead, they continued to chase east. As they got closer, Wang Daoyuan saw the people coming. 3 late Golden Core cultivators, 2,000 Spirit Sect cultivators, and 1 Cruel Sun Palace cultivator. The Cruel Sun Palace cultivator was the first Supreme Elder, Spiritual Master Yen Yang. Although his strength was not as good as spiritual master Jin Yang, who held the cruel sun sword, he should not be worse than Zhao Lingjiang. The Thousand Spirit sect sent spiritual master Yulong. The other person was also the Thousand Spirit sect's great elder, spiritual master Fei Yu. His strength was not very strong. Adding the spiritual beast he raised, he was only at the level of Lord Linhai. The two sects pulled their first supreme elders here. It seemed that they were really anxious. The Yin Qi of the underworld river was cut off. The mysterious 9-crystal mine was the last pillar of the underworld sect. If this mine could not be saved, the underworld sect would be completely finished. The three sects were intimately interdependent. If the underworld sect was finished, the two sects would no longer be Zhao clan's opponent. Therefore, they sent their strongest cultivators here. However, the harassment from Emperor Zhao's side also had some effect. Otherwise, it would not be just these three reinforcements. Spiritual Master Yulong shouted, "Honored guests of Zhao clan, why are you running away as soon as you see us? It's better to stay and let us entertain you." Zhao Jinghua turned around and shot a 10th water divine thunder. Spiritual Master Qi Yang's strength was not bad. A fiery red arm phantom appeared out of thin air and caught the 10th water divine thunder. Several people flew 200 miles to the east and stopped. At this time, two cultivators flew out of the mine. They were Zhong Jinyang and Luo Jiuyo. The two sides were 5 against 5, and each side had 2 top fighting strength. The 6th prince was unreliable, and Zhong Jinyang also had the intention to leave a way out. Wang Daoyuan transmitted to the other 4 people, letting Zhao Jinghua block spiritual master Yulong, and Zhao Lingjiang deal with spiritual master Fei Yu. Gu Chengfeng and spiritual master Qi Yang were both body-refining cultivators. Their life-saving ability was relatively strong. The confrontation between the 6th prince and Zhong Jinyang, these two unreliable guys, was also a bit interesting. As for himself, he wanted to settle the old grudge with Luo Jiuyo. Spiritual Master Yulong summoned a cyan flood dragon. This flood dragon looked similar to the jade scale flood dragon. Unfortunately, its horns were not forked and its tail was bare. At a glance, one could tell that it was a snake that had transformed into a flood dragon. It was a little different from the jade scale flood dragon and had not reached the level of a semi-divine beast. However, the strength of a 4th-grade flood dragon could not be underestimated. There was an 80% chance that it had some small magical abilities. Spiritual Master Fei Yu released an eagle-type spirit bird with a wingspan of less than 10 feet. This was the spirit bird that Spiritual Master Fei Yu valued the most. It was called the golden-tailed owl. Zhong Jinyang and Luo Jiuyo both summoned 4th-grade high-grade refined corpses. These things were like clay in front of the Zhao family. In front of Wang Daoyuan, they could only be made of paper. On the other side, the 4 people each took out their magic tools and fought with their opponents. Wang Daoyuan said with a fake smile, "Luo Jiuyo, let's play?" After saying that, he took out 5 life magic tools and charged towards Luo Jiuyo. Luo Jiuyo did not dare to let him get close. He immediately turned into a cloud of black smoke and hid. He ordered his refined corpse to attack Wang Daoyuan. Wang Daoyuan summoned the scarlet feathered crow and borrowed a wisp of golden and red flames. Activating the vermilion bird fan, the flames surged and swept towards the refined corpse. The scarlet feathered crow also used the sun miner ability and turned into a golden and red sun, pouncing towards the refined corpse. The 4th-grade refined corpse's speed could not be underestimated, but it was still incomparable to the scarlet feathered crow. It was quickly ignited by the flames. Luo Jiuyo quickly appeared and helped the refined corpse extinguish the fire. Wang Daoyuan used the black tortoise purgatory to lock Luo Jiuyo up. Then, the black tortoise purgatory gradually shrank. Luo Jiuyo took out a black banner and summoned black smoke from the black banner, wanting to break through the black tortoise purgatory. These black smoke were the little ghosts that Luo Jiuyo raised. If it was someone else, it would not be easy to deal with him. However, Wang Daoyuan's water attribute spirit power and the rootless fire of the Gui water nether flames were the same thing. They could be transformed at any time. Although it was in the form of spirit power and could not be burned at will, it still had the ability to erode the power of the divine sense and soul. When the black smoke came into contact with the black tortoise purgatory, it let out a series of miserable screams. No matter how Luo Jiuyou urged it, it was not willing to attack again. He could only withdraw the black smoke and use magic to break through the black tortoise purgatory. This was purely wishful thinking. Before Wang Daoyuan comprehended the lesser divine ability, he could already trap Gu Chengfeng for a long time. Now that he had the lesser divine ability, his strength had increased by 20%. Trapping Luo Jiuyou was just a piece of cake. The refined corpse he released was quickly turned into ashes under the cooperation of the scarlet-feathered crow and the vermilion bird fan. The black tortoise purgatory continued to shrink. Soon, Luo Jiuyou would follow in the footsteps of the refined corpse. Zhong Zhenyang and the sixth prince fought back and forth, but they did not even look at him. In the end, Yulong Zhenren could not stand it anymore and secretly cursed, "Trash!" He waved his hand and released an azure dragon shadow, breaking through the black tortoise purgatory. Luo Jiuyou immediately used an escape technique and turned into black smoke, distancing himself from Wang Daoyuan. Then, the other cultivators of the three sects also began to retreating to the vicinity of the entrance of the mine. Wang Daoyuan did not let anyone chase after him. He had won the first battle and easily destroyed a fourth-grade high-grade refined corpse. His goal of exhausting the strength of the three sects had been achieved. Since he had already gained the upper hand, it was better to stop while he was ahead, so as not to force the other side and cause both sides to suffer. Chapter 617. When Venerable Yulong and the others returned to the mine, they lost a golden core stage cultivator in their first fight. Venerable Yulong and Venerable Flying Feather didn't say anything, but Venerable Yenyang couldn't hold back his anger. He pointed at Luo Jiuyou's nose and cursed, "Why did the Netherworld sect choose such a trash as their sect master? In the Three River Market, you were beaten like a stray dog by the Zhao family. This time, I took care of you and didn't let you deal with the Zhao family. You didn't even have the power to resist against a junior from the Wang family. If it wasn't for Venerable Yulong's help, you would have been killed by the Wang family. In the first fight, you lost a high-grade Tier 4 refined corpse. How much wealth does the Netherworld sect have to endure such a waste?" Zhong Zhenyang and Luo Jiuyou had nothing to say. Their sect's inheritor was restrained by someone else. It would be shameful if word got out. However, Venerable Yulong came out to smooth things over. There's nothing we can do about it. Who would have thought that the Wang family's inheritor would be so restrained by the Netherworld sect? In the next fight, Dao Yu Luo should deal with Gu Qingfeng. He's an Earth Attribute Body Refinement cultivator and has no restraining effect on the Netherworld sect's inheritor. Dao Yu Yenyang will deal with the Wang family's kid. You're a body refinement cultivator, so you shouldn't be so afraid of the Golden Crow's flames. Both of them nodded their heads in agreement. Venerable Yulong asked again, "Dao Yu Zhong, do you feel that the Wang family's kid's technique is abnormally strong? When I sent a dragon shadow over, I felt that his black water prison was a bit too strong. It's not just the black tortoise's charm. It seems to have a hint of law." Luo Jiuyou also nodded. It's a bit like that. When he dealt with Gu Chengfeng a few years ago, the water prison was much weaker than it is now. To be able to increase the water prison's strength so much in such a short time and have a hint of law, he should have a minor divine ability. Venerable Yenyang was gloating before, but now his expression turned serious. If that's the case, his strength should be stronger than what he showed. His current strength isn't much weaker than mine. If his minor divine ability is more powerful, his strength might surpass mine. For the time being, only Dao Yu Yulong and Dao Yu Zhong can beat him. Xianming Dao Yu needed to be near the rank 4 water spirit vein in order to defeat him. The palace master of the Savage Sun Palace needs to recover before he can defeat him. While the three sects were in a gloomy mood, the Origin Returning Mountain was full of joy. Everyone was in a dilapidated hall on Mount Guiyuan. Gu Qingfeng cupped his hands and said, "The younger generation will surpass us in time. A few years ago, I was still slightly superior to the Duke. Now, I should be far inferior to the Duke." Zhao Jinghua could tell that his spell contained obvious power of law, but he did not point it out. He only asked, "If your highness goes all out, how is your strength compared to Ling Jiang and Ling Tian?" Wang Daoyuan replied, "About the same as Marquis Ling Jiang, but not as good as the sixth prince." Zhao Jingwa nodded and said, "If you include the Golden Crow bloodline, their power should not be too far from Ling Tian's. With such strength, he could be considered a top expert among the late Golden Core stage cultivators. It might not be enough to deal with Venerable Yulong, but it was not a problem to deal with Venerable Xianming. With the Golden Crow bloodline restraining the underworld sex inheritance, Zhong Zhenyang should not be a match for you if he does not use a small ability." Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, "Let's not talk about strength. This time, the Myriad Spirit sect sent Venerable Yulong over. It seems that they attach great importance to the mysterious netherworld crystal mine. We won't have much success in a short time. Let's inform His Majesty and have the Myriad Rivers Market attack the Myriad Spirit sect's important industry. If the Myriad Spirit sect dares to send out Golden Core cultivators, His Majesty can take the opportunity to kill a few. If they don't send out Golden Core cultivators, then we'll take down the important industry and let the Myriad Spirit sect suffer in silence." Zhao Jingwa nodded and then sent a message to Emperor Zhao, reporting the situation here and Wang Daoyuan's suggestion. Emperor Zhao's reaction was also very fast. The next day after receiving the news, he personally led the army. He brought Shi Zhizhong, Wu Mingjue, and Zhao Jingbang, who had just returned from Song, to attack a medium-sized spirit stone mine in the south of Linchuan County. This spirit stone mine was in the center of Linchuan County and stretched for more than 100 miles. Usually, it could excavate 400,000 to 500,000 spirit stones every year, and occasionally a few high-grade spirit stones. Now that it was wartime, it wouldn't be a problem to send more manpower and produce 1 million spirit stones a year. Even though the Myriad Spirit sect was a large sect, losing this industry would be a huge loss. The three sects had been fighting on two fronts for many years and their reserves were almost exhausted. Other resources were still fine, but spirit stones were the most indispensable. Regardless of whether it was formations, warships, flying boats, or cultivators recovering their spiritual power, they were all inseparable from spirit stones. If they gave up this spirit stone mine, the benefits would fall into the hands of the Zhao clan, which was simply helping the enemy. The Myriad Spirit sect could only brace themselves. Daoist Master Profound Ming brought 3 late-stage Golden Core cultivators to the spirit stone mine. There was no large river nearby, so Daoist Master Profound Ming's Darkwater Black Turtle couldn't display too much strength. Emperor Zhao also had the mountain river seal in hand, so they didn't dare to face him head-on and just hid inside the defensive formation. The grade of the spirit veins in the vicinity of the spirit stone mine wasn't high, so they could only use formation plates to lay down the formation. Emperor Zhao and the other 3 Golden Core cultivators attacked the formation from time to time, causing damage to the formation plates several times. Daoist Master Profound Ming had no choice but to take the Golden Core cultivators to resist for a while, giving the formation masters time to replace the formation plates. However, the price they paid was not small. The Darkwater Black Turtle was injured by Emperor Zhao. If this continued, the Darkwater Black Turtle wouldn't be able to hold on. Emperor Zhao tossed and turned for half a month, and the cultivators in the mysterious 9 underworld crystal mine began to change. The Savage Sun Palace and the Myriad Spirit sect each sent a late-stage Golden Core cultivator, and then Daoist Master Yulong left the place and headed south. It seemed that the Myriad Spirit sect was really anxious, sending 2 late-stage Golden Core cultivators to replace Daoist Master Yulong. Zhao Jingwa was a peak Golden Core expert, and one more person couldn't withstand him. Emperor Zhao sent a message that Daoist Master Yulong had appeared in Linchuan County, so Wang Daoyuan took the 4 Golden Core cultivators and attacked again. The 6th Prince and Zhong Zhenyang were really eyeing each other, and they exchanged blows on the side. The 2 newly arrived Jindan stage cultivators had also shown their faces in the 3 River Market. The cultivator from the Savage Sun Palace was called Qian Yang, and he was able to exchange blows with Zhao Lingjiang. The cultivator from the Myriad Spirit sect was called Jin Shan, and his strength was relatively weak. Even with his Golden Eagle Spirit Bird, his strength was about the same as Lin Hai King. The two of them were still a bit strenuous to deal with Zhao Jingwa. Of course, the three sects didn't expect to win, and they only hoped to barely hold on. As soon as the two sides met, Daoist Master Yan Yang of the Savage Sun Palace attacked Wang Daoyuan. How could Wang Daoyuan not see through their thoughts? He directly turned into a vermilion bird with a wingspan of more than 10 feet, dodged Daoist Master Yan Yang's attack, and continued to attack Luo Jiuyo. Gu Qingfeng took the opportunity to entangle Daoist Master Yan Yang. When Luo Jiuyo saw Wang Daoyuan flying over, he immediately turned into black smoke and fled. The scarlet-feathered crow turned into a sun and chased after him. The black smoke turned into nothingness 100 feet away from the scarlet-feathered crow. As soon as he showed his head, Wang Daoyuan used the black tortoise purgatory. Although Luo Jiuyo's escape technique wasn't fast, it was very flexible, and he managed to dodge the black tortoise purgatory several times. Jin Shan and Chen Yang were suppressed by Zhao Jingwa, and Daoist Flying Feather could barely entangle Zhao Lingjiang. Zhong Jinyang pretended not to see Luo Jiuyo, and Daoist Master Yan Yang's escape technique couldn't keep up with the two, and he was also entangled by Gu Qingfeng, so he couldn't free himself. Luo Jiuyo was lingering on the edge of death. After the scarlet-feathered crow used the Ardent Sun Minor Divine ability, his speed increased greatly, and he was faster than a peak golden core cultivator. Luo Jiuyo's speed was simply incomparable. He was soon intercepted by the scarlet-feathered crow, and when he changed direction, he was trapped by the black tortoise purgatory. Wang Daoyuan shrank the black tortoise purgatory, and at the same time, took out the white tiger blade, and used the sword shadow divine light technique. 10 sword shadows passed through the water curtain and entered the black tortoise purgatory, giving Luo Jiuyo some strength. At first, Luo Jiuyo wanted to use spells to defeat the sword shadows, but dealing with 10 sword shadows at the same time was easier said than done. Soon, several wounds appeared on his body. If not for the soft armor protecting his body, he would have been seriously injured. In desperation, he could only raise a spiritual energy barrier to block the sword shadows. Even so, he could only hold on for a dozen breaths. When the black tortoise purgatory shrank to its limit, he would die without a doubt. At this moment, a golden figure flew out from the mine's defensive formation and pounced on Wang Daoyuan. Wang Daoyuan immediately used the smoke escape and dodged the golden figure's attack. The scarlet-feathered crow also quickly retreated and came to Wang Daoyuan's side. The golden figure waved his hand and shattered the black tortoise purgatory, and the 10 sword shadows slashed on his body, but he was unharmed. Wang Daoyuan used his spiritual sense to probe, and found that there was no trace of life on his body. Instead, there was an extremely strong corpse and death aura. At this moment, Wang Daoyuan knew what the guy in front of him was. It was a metal elite corpse. Chapter 618. In the past, when Wang Daoyuan was at the Violet Palace realm, he encountered the silver-armored corpse in the divine infernal gold mine in the blood demon city of the southern wastelands. Although the silver-armored corpse's body was strong, making it difficult for cultivators of the same level to break through its defenses, it still had a weakness. The body of the metal-armored corpse no longer had any weaknesses. Cultivators of the same level could not injure it at all. Although the Gui Water Divine Lightning of the Zhao family cultivators, Wang Daoyuan's True Fire of Scarlet Yang, and Scarlet Feather's True Fire of Scarlet Feather and Scarlet Feather could wear down the corpse chi and death chi on the refined corpses, the metal-armored corpse was different from the metal-armored corpse. No matter how high the grade of the metal-armored corpse was, the corpse chi and death chi on the regular corpse would not be too much. They could be easily dealt with using lightning, fire, and other magical attacks. However, metal-armored corpses were different. Refining metal-armored corpses required special corpses. The spiritual bodies or battle bodies of humans could only be refined by demonic beasts that had similar constitutions. These special constitutions could carry more energy, which meant they could store more corpse chi and death chi in their bodies. Special corpses had to be placed in places with dense yin chi and death chi. Secret techniques would be used to lock the yin chi they absorbed into their bodies. Some methods of refining corpses even required medicinal baths. serving a refined corpse was even more tiring than serving a lord. These refined corpses could become iron-armored corpses in a few decades, silver-armored corpses in a few centuries, and metal-armored corpses in a few millennia. Of course, the level of the secret technique and the amount of resources would affect the time required to refine a metal-armored corpse. However, it would take at least 1,000 years to refine a metal-armored corpse. It could be said that every part of the body of the metal-armored corpse was filled with a tremendous amount of corpse qi and death qi. The corpse qi and death qi of the refined corpse that Wang Daoyuan had burned to death was not even as much as a single finger of the metal-armored corpse. The toughness of the refined corpse's body was supported by these two factors. Without completely exhausting them, it would be impossible to break through the refined corpse's body. The metal-armored corpse was only at the beginning of the high grade of the 4th rank, but Wang Daoyuan could not compare to it in terms of toughness or strength. Even if Zhao Jingwei used his full strength, he could only injure the metal-armored corpse. It was very difficult for him to even heavily injure it. Perhaps only his master, Daoist Thunderflame, would be able to severely injure it with a single strike. Now, Wang Daoyuan understood why Zhao Lingyan and the 2 gold core cultivators of the Zhao family would self-destruct their gold cores when they attacked the mystical underworld crystal mine. In such a narrow environment, human cultivators were unable to display their advantage in speed and magic. They were far from being a match for the refined corpses. The fact that the 2 Zhao family cultivators were able to self-detonate their gold cores was already pretty good. Otherwise, their gold cores and blood essence would have become nutrients for the metal elite zombie. The metal elite zombie's speed was relatively fast among refined zombies, especially when it was running on the ground. However, flying in the sky was not very fast. The reason why he was able to fly out of the mine so quickly was most likely due to his physical strength. As it continued to fly in the air, its speed was about the same as a golden core cultivator who did not have a high-level escape technique. On the other hand, refined corpse's main means of attack was its physical body. As long as it didn't get close, there was no need to be afraid of it. Wang Daoyuan's escape technique was not bad. He would not be taken down by a refined corpse. However, things like the Black Tortoise Purgatory and Sword Cultivator spells would not be able to injure it. He could only rely on the Scarlet Feathered Crow's natal spiritual fire to consume the corpse and death aura on its body. He drew out flames from the Scarlet Feathered Crow's body and activated the Vermilion Bird Fan to increase the intensity of the flames, burning the Metal Elite Zombie. The Metal Elite Zombie dodged a few times, but was still caught by the flames. After being ignited by the flames, the Metal Elite Zombie's body shone with golden light. The golden light quickly turned into a black mist and enveloped the flames. The flames were quickly extinguished. Wang Daoyuan activated the Vermilion Bird Fan with all his strength, but could only barely keep the flames on the refined corpse from extinguishing. If he wanted to burn the Metal Elite Zombie to death, it would take at least 2 to 3 months. The cowardly Luo Jiuyo also revealed himself and released his Yin Qi to help the Metal Elite Zombie suppress the flames. The flames on the Metal Elite Zombie's body were getting smaller and smaller. The Scarlet Feathered Crow also hurriedly took action. He flapped his wings repeatedly, but the flames on the Metal Elite Zombie's body were still showing signs of weakening. At this rate, they could only exhaust some of the corpse and death aura. It would be very difficult to injure the Metal Elite Zombie. And this was because the Scarlet Gold Flames could restrain the Metal Elite Zombie. Had it been a cultivator without any means to restrain the Metal Elite Zombie, even a half-step Yuanying would have to expend a lot of effort to injure the Metal Elite Zombie. Wang Daoyuan deployed the Black Tortoise Purgatory in an attempt to separate Luo Jiuyo from the Metal Elite Zombie. Unfortunately, the Black Tortoise Purgatory was just a matter of a punch for the Metal Elite Zombie. The Metal Elite Zombie resisted the flames and pounced towards Wang Daoyuan. Wang Daoyuan relied on the escape of Cloud to avoid being hit by the Metal Elite Zombie. Instead, he could seize the opportunity to deal a few blows to Luo Jiuyo. However, Luo Jiuyo was too cunning. As soon as he was attacked, he fled towards the Metal Elite Zombie. The Metal Elite Zombie and Luo Jiuyo did not dare to rashly separate. Otherwise, Wang Daoyuan and the scarlet-feathered crow would be able to injure the metal elite zombie. The two sides were in a deadlock. Neither side could defeat the other. Wang Daoyuan was not in a hurry. There was no need for him to expose more of his trump cards. It was fine as long as he could hold his ground. Victory did not depend entirely on him. As for his other four companions, Gu Chengfeng was slightly weaker than Sage Yenyang. The sixth prince and Zhong Zhenyang were basically tied. Zhao Lingjiang had a slight advantage, but he could not win in a short time. Zhao Jinggua's side, however, had a great advantage. Qian Yang and Jin Shan were already covered with cuts and bruises. They could barely hold on and were about to be defeated. As long as Zhao Jinggua could kill one of the enemy's golden core cultivators, they would be able to win quickly. As for the other three sects, their late golden core cultivators were already at the bottom. Currently, only the Myriad Spirit sect could pull in one more late golden core cultivator. Once the reinforcements were transferred over, they would not have enough manpower to defend Emperor Zhao. Zhao Jinggua also noticed that Wang Daoyuan's side was having a hard time winning. The long sword in his hand flickered with dazzling aqua-blue radiance. He wanted to kill one of his opponents ruthlessly. Just at this moment, a plume of black smoke emerged from the mine. It rushed towards Zhao Jinggua at an extremely fast speed. Zhao Jinggua had no choice but to change the target of his attack and slashed at the black smoke. The sound of metal clashing was heard, and a black figure flew out from the black smoke. This person appeared. He was wearing a black robe and his whole body was surrounded by yin qi. Corpse qi and death qi were hidden in the yin qi. He was holding a shield in his hand, but there was a deep sword mark on the shield. It was completely destroyed. The black-robed cultivator said in a hoarse voice, "Zhao family's inheritance is really powerful. This sword strike can actually destroy a 4th-rank high-grade defensive magic tool." His face was quite similar to Luo Juyu's. Zhao Jinggua asked, "You're Luo Juyu, who has been hiding? You're really powerful." The black-robed cultivator said with a smile, "It's my honor to be praised by the #1 expert of Zhao State." He looked behind him at Qian Yang and Jin Shan, who were covered with cuts and bruises, and shouted, "Retreat." With Zhao Jinggua's strength, it would be a bit difficult for him to fight 1 against 3. Everyone had consumed a lot of spiritual power. If they continued to fight, they would not have a chance to win, and casualties would be inevitable. Wang Daoyuan also left with everyone and returned to Mount Guiyuan. After returning to Mount Guiyuan, Wang Daoyuan asked, "Minister Zong, what do you think of Luo Jiuyu's strength?" Zhao Jinggua thought for a moment and replied, "He should be about the same as Ling Jiang, but his physical strength is extremely strong. I fought with the cruel Sun Palace's Jin Yang renegade. When he used his Dharma idol, his strength was about the same as Luo Juyu's. Previously, when you received my sword strike, you mainly relied on the strength of your physical body. County King, Dao Yugu, you too also walked the path of body refinement. Have you seen such a strong physical body?" Gu Chengfeng shook his head. Wang Daoyuan said, "If it was my master, Lei Yanzhenren, he might have this strength. But the Netherworld sect is not good at body refinement, so it's unlikely for them to cultivate such a person. Although he deliberately hid it, I still found corpse qi and death qi on his body. Moreover, these two are extremely pure. They are definitely not from being in contact with corpses for a long time. In addition, with such a strong physical body, I suspect that he's a half-corpse." Gu Chengfeng was a bit confused, but the Zhao family's faces changed slightly. Zhao Lingjiang quickly asked, "County King, are you talking about the secret technique that allows living people to absorb corpse qi and death qi into their bodies and refine them into half-human half-corpse?" Chapter 619. Wang Daoyuan nodded his head. Zhao Jinggua asked, "Are you sure?" He said thoughtfully, "Before I formed my gold core, I met a half-corpse when I was traveling in the southern wasteland. That person's body was extremely strong, and there were obvious fluctuations of corpse qi and death qi on his body. This was very similar to Luo Juyu. However, that half-corpse vitality and blood qi were almost undetectable. Unlike Luo Juyu, who had extremely strong vitality. Minister Zhong Jingqing fought with him at close range. Did you feel anything unusual? When he attacked, the black smoke also had the effect of concealing the consciousness, so I didn't feel anything. Later on, when I forced him to retreat with a sword, I felt obvious fluctuations of corpse chi and death chi. The underworld sect's inheritance was mainly about refining corpses and controlling ghosts. It was normal for them to have some of these things on their bodies. I didn't take it seriously, but the county king's words were indeed not quite right. If they were tainted, they would definitely be extremely impure. The corpse chi and death chi on Luo Juyu's body were very pure and completely merged with his body. It was indeed very similar to a refined corpse. The county king has dealt with half-corpses before. May I know if they have any weaknesses? Wang Daoyuan replied, since the day he became a half-corpse, his body has been continuously transforming into a refined corpse. Unless he has some kind of treasure, it's impossible to suppress it. The closer he is to a refined corpse, the stronger his body is, but the weaker his spells are. The refined corpse I dealt with was at the late stage of the Violet Palace realm. His body was indeed far stronger than a late-stage Violet Palace realm body refiner, but his spells were inferior to an ordinary early-stage Violet Palace realm cultivator. It's just that Luo Juyu's vitality is still very strong, so I'm not sure how much power his spells have left. Zhao Jinghua pondered for a long time. The other side suddenly had two people with battle strength comparable to Ling Jiang. Fortunately, the county king's golden crow can restrain the metal elite corpse. Otherwise, it would have been difficult for us. It was also very difficult for me to deal with Luo Juyu, Qianyang, and Jin Shan. I could only ask His Majesty for help and transfer Shanbei's Ling Su over. Although he's not as strong as Ling Jiang, he's slightly stronger than Ling Hai. Dealing with Qianyang shouldn't be a problem. Gu Daoyu, on the other hand, has to be careful. Zhao and the county king all have methods to restrain the underworld sect. It will be difficult for them to kill us. Gu Daoyu doesn't have the means to restrain the underworld sect. Even if his escape art is powerful, it is inevitable that he will lose. Gu Qingfeng also looked worried, not knowing what to do. He was an earth-type cultivator and was the weakest among all the cultivators. If the three sects wanted to kill the cultivators here, he would be the easiest target. Wang Daoyuan smiled and said, Dao, don't worry. I have an earth element spell that can be used together with Kirin's vision. This spell was called Kirin's evil suppression spell. It could reduce the power of evil cultivators' attacks by 10 to 20%. If Dao Yu learns this technique, it won't be difficult for him to deal with the cultivators of the Netherworld sect. Gu Qingfeng's face was full of joy. The royal prince likes to do business. I wonder what you've taken a fancy to? You've already taken away my Gu clan's cultivation technique inheritance, so I don't have anything good on me now. It's great to do business with a straightforward person. I want to take care of Dao You's earth elemental evasion technique. Gu Qingfeng thought for a long time and still felt that preserving his life was more important. He took out a jade slip. Wang Daoyuan took out 2 jade slips and exchanged them with Gu Qingfeng. This evasion technique was called flying dust evasion. It was similar to the Wang clan's cloud evasion. It used one's own earth-type spirit energy or external earth-type spirit energy to condense flying dust and hide in it. If it didn't go underground, it would be faster than the cloud evasion. As an earth-type evasion technique, there was no problem in going underground. Its speed was also much faster than basic earth-type evasion techniques. When used in the air, it could also borrow the wind to increase its speed. Zhao Jinghua sent a message to Emperor Zhao, wanting to transfer Zhao Lingxiu over. Zhao Lingxiu oversaw Guiyuan's sword sect, which was also an important place to produce all kinds of resources. If he wanted to transfer him over, he would have to transfer as many resources as possible to Jinyan City. It would take at least 10 days to half a month, so there was no rush. Before this, Wang Daoyuan practiced flying dust evasion. Gu Qingfeng was also practicing Kirin's evil suppression spell. The two of them consulted each other. With Gu Qingfeng's guidance, Wang Daoyuan only needed 2 days to successfully execute it. Gu Qingfeng had the yellow mane Kirin's vision, so he wasn't slow in cultivating Kirin's evil suppression spell. With Wang Daoyuan's guidance, he mastered it in 10 days. The thick earth profound handle was relatively simple. Gu Qingfeng only needed 2 or 3 days to be able to execute it. 20 days later, a blue-robed golden core cultivator arrived at Mount Beiyuan on a flying boat transporting resources from Jinyan City. This was Zhao Lingshu of the Zhao clan. His hair and beard were all white. He was at least 800 or 900 years old. Once Zhao Lingshu arrived, the battle could begin. The 6 of them once again rushed to the mysterious netherworld crystal mine. After 20 days, Xianxia and Jin Shan, who were covered in cuts and bruises, had already recovered. When Wang Daoyuan and the others arrived near the mine, the other party came out to meet them. The newcomer Zhao Lingshu dealt with Jin Shan of the Myriad Spirit sect and his Golden Eagle. Zhao Jinghua dealt with Luo Jiuyu and Chen Yang. Metal Elite Zombie and Luo Jiuyu immediately attacked Gu Qingfeng. Wang Daoyuan naturally wouldn't let them succeed. Otherwise, with one less person on his side, it would be difficult to fight. Gu Qingfeng executed Kirin's evil suppression technique and took out his Fang Tian halberd to resist Metal Elite Zombie. He was definitely not a match for Metal Elite Zombie alone. Wang Daoyuan also executed Kirin's evil suppression technique. His body emitted an earthy yellow radiance. At the same time, he took out the 5 Elements Demon Suppression Seal and smashed it towards Metal Elite Zombie. Red-feathered crow flew towards Luo Jiuyu to prevent him from launching a sneak attack. Luo Jiuyu, on the other hand, didn't interfere. Red-feathered crow chased after him until he covered his head and fled like a rat. The 2 of them worked together to resist Metal Elite Zombie's attack and didn't fall into a disadvantageous position. However, when they clashed head-on, their bodies had to bear an enormous amount of force. Metal Elite Zombie could withstand it, but Wang Daoyuan and Gu Qingfeng didn't have such strong bodies. Spiritual Master Yan Yang also came to join in the fun. Gu Qingfeng went to block him. Metal Elite Zombie was determined to kill Gu Qingfeng. He completely ignored Wang Daoyuan's attack. He summoned a ball of flame from Red-Feathered Crow's body and activated the Vermilion Bird Fan. The flame instantly expanded to the size of a wheel and burned towards Metal Elite Zombie. Metal Elite Zombie used the same old method. He covered himself with black gas to suppress the golden flame and continued to attack Gu Qingfeng. Wang Daoyuan transmitted to Gu Qingfeng, telling him to flee to the east. This Metal Elite Zombie was too difficult to deal with. If he couldn't get rid of it, Gu Qingfeng could be killed at any time. Wang Daoyuan planned to lure Metal Elite Zombie to a faraway place and execute a minor ability. Together with Red-Feathered Crow and Firebane Gourd, they would burn Metal Elite Zombie to death. After receiving Lu Cheng's transmission, Gu Qingfeng transformed into a cloud of dust and fled to the east. Even Metal Elite Zombie's intelligence was negligible. It must have received its master's order to pursue Gu Qingfeng with all its might. The speed of flying dust escape was extremely fast. Metal Elite Zombie could only chase from afar. Spiritual Master Yan Yang was also in hot pursuit. Wang Daoyuan ordered Red-Feathered Crow to entangle Luo Jiuyu so that he wouldn't cause trouble. Gu Qingfeng lured Metal Elite Zombie more than 500 miles away. Wang Daoyuan ordered him to entangle Spiritual Master Yan Yang. Soon after, he executed a minor ability. The spiritual energy within a radius of 100 miles instantly gathered. The spiritual energy from the outside world was rapidly replenished, forming a spiritual energy vortex with a radius of 100 miles. Wang Daoyuan rapidly converted the spiritual energy into fire spiritual energy. He took out the Vermilion Bird Fan and condensed a Vermilion Bird Phantom, which pounced towards Metal Elite Zombie. The golden flame on Metal Elite Zombie's body burned fiercely. It released the black gas with all its might. It could barely suppress the black gas and continue to pursue Gu Qingfeng. Wang Daoyuan used his consciousness to draw out the Scarlet Luan's Nirvana fire from the Firebane Gourd and placed it near the fire attribute spiritual vein in the spiritual pearl. He took out the gourd and drew in a wisp of golden flame. Soon after, he injected the spiritual energy collected by his minor ability into the gourd. The gourd was quickly filled with golden flame. He controlled the gourd to spew out a large amount of golden flame, Protecting Metal Elite Zombie. The spiritual energy within a radius of 100 miles continuously converged towards the gourd. The golden flame also grew more and more. Metal Elite Zombie was surrounded by a huge fireball with a radius of 10 miles. The vermilion bird phantom was still tossing and turning in the sea of fire, continuously increasing the firepower. Waves of black smoke and stench spread out from the sea of fire. Metal Elite Zombie couldn't hold on any longer. He couldn't care less about killing Gu Chengfeng. He fled towards the entrance of the mine, hoping to use the yin energy in the vein to extinguish the fire. Gu Chengfeng was chased like a stray dog. How could he let it do as it wished? He executed the flying dust escape and arrived in front of Metal Elite Zombie. He brandished his Fangtian halberd and struck it. Metal Elite Zombie was forced to retreat more than 10 miles. However, the sea of fire was still following it under the control of the vermilion bird phantom. Spiritual Master Flaming Sun used his fire controlling technique to disperse the sea of fire. However, he was trapped by Wang Daoyuan's Black Tortoise Purgatory. He used all his strength to break the Black Tortoise Purgatory. Metal Elite Zombie couldn't escape. He also saw that Wang Daoyuan had a minor ability that he couldn't compare to. Even if he continued to stay here, he wouldn't be of any use. Once Wang Daoyuan destroyed Metal Elite Zombie, he wouldn't be able to escape death either. He turned into a ball of fire and fled towards the entrance of the mine. Gu Chengfeng was worried that Metal Elite Zombie would attack the other companions and chased after him. Metal Elite Zombie wanted to continue fleeing towards the west, but Wang Daoyuan used the 5 elements seal to meet it head-on. Every time they collided, Wang Daoyuan felt his blood boil and his whole body ache. However, the effect wasn't bad. Metal Elite Zombie couldn't move an inch towards the west. When the cultivators of the 3 sects saw that Metal Elite Zombie was surrounded, they wanted to come to his rescue. However, they were entangled by the cultivators of the Zhao family. The golden sea of fire continued to burn. Wang Daoyuan repeatedly took medicinal pellets to replenish the consumption of his consciousness and heal his injuries. 2 hours later, Wang Daoyuan couldn't hold on any longer. His consciousness was almost depleted. Metal Elite Zombie had consumed too much of his corpse and death aura. His strength and physical strength were much weaker than before. Wang Daoyuan stopped using his minor ability and only used the vermilion bird fan and the meteorite fire controlling gourd to deal with him. The sea of fire quickly shrank and turned into a 300 zhang wide ball of fire. However, Metal Elite Zombie was still powerless to resist. After burning for another 4 hours, Metal Elite Zombie turned into a pile of ashes. The cultivators of the 3 sects had ashen faces. They no longer had the heart to continue fighting and fled back to the mine. Wang Daoyuan was already an arrow at the end of its flight. The others had fought for several hours and had consumed a lot of energy. They didn't pursue him any further and returned to Origin Mountain while chatting and laughing. Chapter 620. In order to prevent the Metal Elite Zombie from escaping, Wang Daoyuan used the Kirin seal to fight it head-on. His body was under great pressure. After many head-on clashes, his injuries were not light. He killed the Metal Elite Zombie by relying on his last breath. After he succeeded, his last breath dissipated and he almost could not fly. After forming his core, he had never fought so hard again. At this time, the Azure Dragon Pearl was releasing vitality in his body to heal his injuries. The elixirs he had eaten earlier were also slowly taking effect. After returning to the Returning Mountain, Zhao Jinghua took out a few jars of spirit wine and distributed it to everyone. He specially handed a jar of 1,000-year-old wine to Wang Daoyuan. I didn't expect the County King's ability to be so powerful that it could kill the Metal Elite Zombie. The Metal Elite Zombie should be the one who forced the 2 clansmen to self-destruct their golden cores in the Abyss Crystal Mine. Thank you, County King, for avenging the 2 clansmen of the Zhao clan. Wang Daoyuan took the jar of wine and drank with everyone. After drinking, Zhao Jinghua asked, "County King, what do you plan to do next?" "Continue to wear them down. The other golden core cultivators of the 3 sects are either guarding the mountain gates or being restrained by His Majesty." Zhong Zhenyang had the intention to surrender. He did not use his full strength these few times. When Luo Juyo was in danger, he pretended not to see it. As long as Luo Juyo and Luo Juyu are killed, the cultivators of the three sects will definitely collapse. We can let Zhong Zhenyang go. There is only one golden core cultivator of the Luo clan in the underworld sect. Soon, there will be chaos in the underworld sect. Some of the golden core cultivators will defect to His Majesty. Once the underworld sect surrenders, the Wanling sect and the Crescent Sun Palace will definitely not be a match. However, we need to pay attention to the Cold River Pass. If the Wanling sect no longer defends the pass and the Wei Kingdom invades, we will be in big trouble. Zhao Jinghua nodded. Don't worry, County King. I will pass on your words to His Majesty. Everyone dispersed to recover their spiritual power and injuries. 7 days later, the battle began again. Wang Daoyuan showed the strength to kill the metal elite zombie alone. The other party naturally did not dare to let Luo Juyo face him alone. This time, Luo Juyu resisted Zhao Jinghua alone, and Qian came over to resist Wang Daoyuan. Now that Gu Chengfeng had the Kirin's evil suppression spell, he could somewhat restrain the underworld sect's inheritance. In addition, his escape technique was strong, and he was also a body-refining cultivator. The Netherworld sect couldn't kill him, so they didn't continue to target him. At this point, both the Myriad Spirit sect and the Cruel Sun Palace were somewhat passive. For hundreds of years, although the three sects did not go to war, there were many small fights and backstabbings. Moreover, the two sects were backed by the Wei Kingdom and the Song Kingdom. If they really couldn't do it, they could surrender. The Netherworld sect had no way out, so why should the other two sects risk their lives for the Netherworld sect? This time, the cultivators of the two sects didn't go all out. They just wanted to preserve their own lives. Even Qian Yang didn't go all out against Wang Daoyuan. As soon as the two of them met, Qian Yang brought out a long sword that was burning with flames. This fellow was able to withstand Zhao Lingjiang's attacks in the Three River Market. His strength was similar to Wang Daoyuan's. Wang Daoyuan couldn't be bothered to use any more minor divine abilities, so he decided to use this opponent of his to practice his sword cultivation dharma spells. He brought out the white tiger blade, and 10 sword shadows appeared to block the sword. After using 3 sword shadows, he repelled Qian Yang's long sword. He didn't need to worry about Luo Juyo. The Red-Winged Crow would deal with him. The Red-Winged Crow could only use the strength of a mid-stage golden core cultivator to deal with ordinary cultivators. With its pure yang qi and natal true fire, it didn't feel much pressure to deal with late-stage golden core cultivators of the Netherworld sect. Luo Juyo used all kinds of methods, but he was only able to exchange blows with the Red-Winged Crow. Wang Daoyuan replenished the sword shadows, condensed the thick earth mystic handle, and used the flying dust escape to attack Qian Yang. Both of them were body-refining cultivators, so close combat was more interesting. Qian Yang wasn't a sword cultivator, but his physical body was stronger than Wang Daoyuan's, and the grade of his natal dharma artifact was also higher. Both of them didn't use their full strength, so they were evenly matched. On the other hand, Zhao Jinghua's side was particularly lively. Luo Juyu kept taking out all kinds of dharma artifacts and rarely used dharma spells. Now, it was certain that this guy was a half-corpse. His physical body was in a half-corpse state. Although it was very strong, in terms of corpse chi and death chi, it was inferior to a real refined corpse. In terms of dharma spells, the power was also far inferior. To deal with ordinary cultivators of the same level, he could rely on his physical body to crush them. But to deal with a ruthless person like Zhao Jinghua, he didn't dare to use his physical body to take the attack. He didn't have a strong physical body like the metal elite corpse. Zhao Jinghua's sword could send him away directly. He could only use the corpse chi and death chi in his body to activate the evil cultivator's dharma artifact to deal with Zhao Jinghua. Zhao Jinghua's long sword was condensed with a thick layer of water spiritual power, and lightning flashed in it. He didn't use any dharma spells, and just slashed out sword rays one by one. Each sword ray could break one of Luo Jiuyu's high-grade level 4 dharma artifacts. Although the blooming water lightning sword consumed a lot of spiritual power, It only slashed out sword rays, which were about 30% more than the blooming water divine lightning. With his strength, slashing out 100 times wasn't a problem. Luo Juyu's Dharma artifacts were quickly exhausted, and his dodging speed couldn't compare to the sword rays. A sword ray slashed on his body, leaving a deep wound. Luo Juyu most likely had some relationship with the sixth prince. When he escaped, he didn't hesitate and turned into a black mist to escape. However, although his black mist was very fast, it couldn't last for long. He didn't dare to escape to the west, so he fled towards the mine. His physical body was very strong, and it would take a lot of effort to kill him. Zhao Jinghua didn't chase after him, and turned to attack the myriad spirit sect's Daoist flying feather. One Zhao Lingjiang was already hard for him to deal with, and now there was the #1 expert of the Zhao state. Who could withstand this? Daoist flying feather ordered the gold-tailed owl to block, and he used an escape technique to escape to the west. He didn't have any confidence in defending the mysterious netherworld crystal mine, and didn't even enter the mine. Seeing him escape, Jin Shan didn't dare to continue fighting, and rode the golden eagle to escape. This man and eagle didn't have much fighting power, but they were very fast, and no one could catch up. The power of law on Zhong Jinyang's body surged, and then black smoke spread out from his body. This black smoke was very corrosive, and black ghost heads kept flying out to attack everyone. The people of the Zhao family hurriedly used their spiritual power to protect themselves, and Gu Chengfeng also condensed the yellow main Kirin shadow and used the Kirin evil suppression technique. Zhong Jinyang's small divine ability was really interesting, and Wang Daoyuan also used a small divine ability to convert all the surrounding spiritual power into fire attribute. He also released the meteoric flame controlling gourd to burn the black smoke. In just a few breaths of time, the black smoke dissipated. At this time, Zhong Jinyang had escaped more than 100 miles to the west, and his speed was very fast. In the black smoke, the red-feathered crow didn't dare to chase Luo Jiuyo anymore, and used his natal spiritual fire to protect himself and escape the range of the black smoke. Luo Jiuyo also took this opportunity to escape, and he also wanted to continue to the west, but the red-feathered crow chased after him. In desperation, he could only hide in the mine. The two cultivators of the cruel Sun Palace, who weren't very fast, were surrounded by 6 people. Spiritual Master Yen Yang was a little bold, and he rushed toward Wang Daoyuan with all his might, wanting to detonate his golden core and take him away. Unfortunately, his escape technique wasn't very good, and Wang Daoyuan used the flying dust escape to escape downwards. Soon, he was more than 20 miles away, and seeing that the distance was getting farther and farther, Spiritual Master Yen Yang directly detonated his golden core. Wang Daoyuan had already reached the surface, and directly escaped underground. When the explosion of his golden core reached the surface, Wang Daoyuan had already escaped several hundred feet underground. With the obstruction of several hundred feet of rock, the power of the explosion was almost negligible. Wang Daoyuan didn't suffer any injuries, and escaped to the surface unscathed. Everyone stared at him with a mocking expression, and his expression was very complicated. After a long time, he cupped his hands and said, "Dao, I've always been a hidden cultivator of the cruel Sun Palace, and have never shown my face outside. When the 3 sects rebelled, I didn't participate. Before, in the 3 River Market, I only fought with Marquis Ling Jiang and Dao Yu, and didn't kill anyone from the Zhao family. The golden core of the cruel Sun Palace that was killed by Spiritual Master Yu Quan also had no relationship with me. I'm willing to surrender, and I ask that Dao Yu give me a way out." Zhao Jinghua looked at Wang Daoyuan. After all, the Wang family and the cruel Sun Palace were mortal enemies, and he needed to ask for his opinion. Wang Daoyuan also didn't have any objections. Emperor Zhao had already decreed that those who surrendered would not be killed, and he couldn't openly disobey. This person was also not like the other cultivators of the cruel Sun Palace, who would get angry at the mention of the Wang family. When this guy fought with Wang Daoyuan, he didn't seem to be going all out, so there was no harm in letting him go. With him as an example, it would be easier to recruit the cultivators of the 3 sects in the future. Wang Daoyuan nodded. "Since His Majesty has already decreed that those who surrender will not be killed, I naturally have no objections." Xianyang's face showed joy, and he hurriedly cupped his hands, saying, "Many thanks to your highness, many thanks to Duke Anghua." The cultivators of the three sects had either fled or died, and now that the Zhao family's strength clearly held the upper hand, it was time to force the underworld sect to surrender. The two rats in the mysterious netherworld crystal mine also had to be pulled out and killed. Chapter 621. This mysterious netherworld crystal vein was formed by the passage of an underground Yin vein during the ancient times. There were no Yin veins now, only a rank 3 non-attributed spiritual vein nearby. The vein was not very long, only about 100 miles long. Luo Jiuyo and Luo Jiuyu were hiding inside, and the Yin qi emitted by the ore below made it difficult for ordinary people to deal with them. However, Wang Daoyuan's minor ability could still be used. The theoretical range of his minor ability was a spherical space with a radius of 100 miles with him as the center. Unfortunately, the sky was not high enough, and the nine heavens astral wind was at a height of more than 10,000 miles. The power of law of his minor ability could not withstand a single blow from the astral wind. Moreover, it would be blocked by the underground rock stratum. If it was on a complete rock stratum, without any interference, his minor ability could only reach a depth of a few hundred feet. However, there was already a cave in the mysterious netherworld crystal vein, and his minor ability could still extend inside. When everyone arrived at the entrance of the cave, the Golden Core practitioners of the three sects had suffered a crushing defeat, and the low-level practitioners in charge of the vein had fled. Now that there was no one managing the defensive formation at the entrance of the cave, and there was not much spiritual energy left in the formation plate, Zhao Jinghua broke the formation with a casual swing of his sword. He used his consciousness to explore the cave, then turned to Wang Daoyuan and asked, "The Yin qi in the cave is very dense and suppresses the consciousness. Luo Jiuyu and Luo Jiuyo are good at hiding. If we go down rashly, we may be ambushed by them. Your Highness has many tricks up your sleeve. Do you have any way to deal with them?" Wang Daoyuan nodded and said, "I do have some ideas, but I need the cooperation of Qianyang Daoyu and Zhaolingyan Daoyu. In a while, I will use my minor ability to control the spiritual energy in the cave and bring the Yin qi out. When the time comes, Qianyang Daoyu and Zhao Daoyu will pour their fire spiritual energy into the fire ward gourd. If we can fill the cave with the spiritual fire of the Golden Crow, Luo Jiuyu and Luo Jiuyo will suffer." Previously, when he burned the metal elite zombie, he had to rely on himself and almost died of exhaustion. Now that everyone was free, it would be a waste to not use idle people. Zhao Jinghua nodded and immediately took out a jade talisman to send a message to Zhao Lingyan, who was overseeing Mount Guiyuan. 15 minutes later, Zhao Lingyan arrived at the entrance of the mine. Wang Daoyuan activated his small divine art and controlled the spirit qi in the mine to surge out. A gust of wind blew at the entrance of the cave, bringing out the Yin qi from the mine. This Yin qi was slowly released by the mysterious netherworld crystal ore, and it had accumulated over the years. Now that it had been brought out, the ores wouldn't release much Yin energy for the time being. In just half a cup of tea's time, the Yin qi in the mine had been sucked dry. Wang Daoyuan summoned the meteorite fire raining gourd, and under the urging of it, the gourd continued to pour out golden flames. He instructed Zhao Lingyan and Qianyang Daoyu, take turns to inject fire spiritual energy into the gourd. The two of them nodded. Zhao Lingyan went first. A ball of fiery red spiritual energy flew out of his hand and wrapped around the gourd. The fire spiritual energy was quickly absorbed by the gourd and turned into golden flames that poured into the mine. There was a third-order medium-grade attributeless spirit vein near the mine, which was still constantly seeping spirit qi into the mine. Wang Daoyuan transformed all the spirit qi into fire spiritual energy, but he didn't extract it and inject it into the fire raining gourd. The golden flames that poured into the mine could ignite the fire spiritual energy. Although the efficiency of fire spiritual energy was relatively low, the consumption of spiritual energy was much smaller. He also summoned the vermilion bird fan, and a vermilion bird phantom flew into the mine to increase the power of the flames in the mine. Using the vermilion bird fan to cast the vermilion bird fire controlling technique didn't consume spiritual energy, so he could hold on for a while. Under the guidance of the vermilion bird phantom, the flames quickly spread throughout the entire mine. At this time, it was a battle of attrition. If Wang Daoyuan and the others couldn't hold on, then they couldn't do anything to Luo Juyu and Zhao Lingyan. If Luo Juyu and Zhao Lingyan couldn't hold on, then they would either escape to their deaths or be burned to ashes. After a quarter of an hour, screams came from the mine. Soon, Wang Daoyuan's spiritual energy discovered that someone was using an escape technique to fly towards the entrance of the mine. He glanced at Qianyang, and Qianyang nodded. His right arm condensed a giant arm phantom formed by flames. The newcomer quickly reached the entrance of the mine and shouted in a hoarse voice, "I'm Sir." Before he finished speaking, Qianyang punched him. The newcomer was beaten half to death and fell into the mine again. Qianyang dispersed the arm phantom and said with a smile, "This one can't take a beating. It should be Luo Juyo." Luo Juyo was quickly burned to death, and his body turned to ashes. In the depths of the mine, there were still screams from time to time. After a quarter of an hour, the screams disappeared. Wang Daoyuan put away the minor divine ability, and Qianyang and Zhao Lingyan continued to inject fire spiritual energy into the gourd. After another quarter of an hour, Wang Daoyuan let them stop. He drove the fire-inning gourd to take back all the flames in the mine. After the heat dissipated, he released 1,000 second-rank middle-grade soul-chasing bees and let them enter the mine to check the situation. As the pillar of the Netherworld sect, the Nine Abyss mysterious crystal mine was not overexploited, and the mine was not complicated. Not long after, the soul-chasing bees came back to report. There were no living people in the mine, and there were no other exits. There were only 2 piles of ashes. Wang Daoyuan and the others still went in to check, in case Luo Jiyu used an escape technique such as the earth escaping technique to hide underground. This mine was more than 3,000 feet deep underground. Once the earth escaping technique was used to escape to another place. Even a late-stage golden core cultivator would be crushed to death by the pressure of the rock layer. If he wanted to hide, he could only hide under the mine. There was a hole above, so it was not a problem to escape a few thousand feet down. Near the 2 piles of ashes, there were burned pieces of golden cores, which were exactly the same as Luo Juyu's aura. After being burned by the red gold flame, this thing was useless. Zhao Jinghua also used a secret technique to check the mine, but he did not find any trace of escape using the earth escaping technique. Now it was certain that both of them had been burned to death. Zhao Jinghua put away the pieces of golden cores and used them to summon the cultivators of the Netherworld sect. Wang Daoyuan wanted to return to the primordial mountain to recuperate before going to the Netherworld sect to summon them. At this time, Zhong Zhenyang sent a message. He said that he had killed the last golden core cultivator of the Luo family, and the Zhong, Gu, and Ming families of the Netherworld sect had surrendered to Emperor Zhao. Those who were not willing to abandon the dark side and join the light side had all been eliminated, and the treasury had been sealed. He invited Wang Daoyuan and the others to the Netherworld sect's mountain gate to accept their surrender. Everyone was shocked when they received the message. Zhong Zhenyang's actions were really fast. Not long after killing Luo Juyu and the other person, the other side had already changed sides and eliminated the remaining enemies. Wang Daoyuan showed the communication jade talisman to Zhao Jinghua and asked, "Minister Zong, what do you think we should do?" Zhao Jinghua looked at the jade talisman and said, "This battle is led by the Duke, so the Duke has the final say." It had to be said that other than the 6th prince and a few stubborn old men, the rest of the Zhao family were good at doing things. Forcing the Netherworld sect to surrender was a great merit. At this time, whoever was in charge, the merit would be mainly given to them. Zhao Jinghua said this to put the credit on Wang Daoyuan's head. However, Wang Daoyuan did not want this merit. The Wang family was already an extremely high official. Before, they had already killed several strong enemies, and they also had the merit of commanding and planning. No matter how great the merit, it was useless. Could it make Emperor Zhao take off his robe and give up the throne? Wang Daoyuan did not have any use for this merit of surrendering, and it would attract fear for no reason. It was better to give it to Zhao Jinghua, which could also be considered as showing goodwill to the Zhao family. Thinking of this, Wang Daoyuan said with a smile, "The Netherworld sect surrendered to Emperor Zhao. Minister Zong is in charge of the Zhao family's affairs, and is most suitable to represent Emperor Zhao. You are still the leader." Zhao Jinghua also understood his meaning and agreed to this matter. The group of people rode a cloud towards the Netherworld sect. Zhao Jinghua also sent a message to Emperor Zhao to report the battle situation, and asked how to deal with the Netherworld sect and the surrendered Qianyang. Chapter 622. When they arrived at the Underworld sect, Wang Daoyuan couldn't help but sigh. In the past, they had to swallow their pride, but this time, they had to surrender as the victors. At this moment, all the formations in the Underworld sect had been shut down. Wang Daoyuan scanned with his divine sense and didn't find anything wrong. Zhong Zhenyang led Gu Wangzong, Zhong Yaoting, and the Gu clan's Grand Elder Gu Shenghai to stand respectfully outside the Underworld sect. There were many Violet Palace Realm and Foundation Establishment Realm cultivators behind them, many of whom Wang Daoyuan was familiar with. For example, Zhou Qi, Lu Jinhui, and the Old Drunkard. Everyone walked forward with Zhao Jinghua in the lead. Wang Daoyuan followed closely behind, and the others followed behind. When they arrived, Zhong Zhenyang and the others bowed, and the cultivators below the Golden Core realm knelt. Zhong Zhenyang took out a beast skin book and handed it to Zhao Jinghua with both hands. "Sinner Zhong Zhenyang, I present the list of the Underworld sect's inheritances. Sinner Gu Wangzong, I present the list of the Underworld sect's properties. Sinner Ming Huai, I present the list of the Underworld sect's disciples and affiliated families." The three of them represented the three main families of the Underworld sect and expressed their allegiance. Then, Zhong Yaoting and Gu Shenghai presented the Underworld sect's defensive formation activation tokens and the key to the treasury. Zhao Jinghua ordered Zhao Lingjiang and Zhao Lingxiu to accept the items. Then, he said, "Everyone, you have forsaken the darkness and joined the light. This Duke has already reported to His Majesty the merits of killing the traitors. His Majesty is benevolent and has forgiven your rebellion. Also, I'll reward you for your contributions." Zhong Zhenyang will be conferred the title of Count, and Gu Shenghai, Gu Wangzong, Zhong Yaoting, and Ming Huai will be conferred the title of Viscount. Sinner Qianyang of the Cruel Sun Palace helped Princess Qingli kill the traitors Luo Jiuyo and Luo Jiuyu and was conferred the title of Count. Your titles haven't been decided yet, and once they are decided, the documents and seals will be sent over. The six of them bowed and thanked Zhao Jinghua. Zhong Zhenyang asked, "Dukan, how should we deal with the Luo family?" Zhao Jinghua replied, "Luo Jiuyo and the others have committed grave crimes, but the Luo Jiuyo and the rest. The cultivators of the Luo clan will all atone for their crimes by performing meritorious deeds. The ordinary clansmen will be divided into the Zhong, Gu, and Ming clans." Zhong Zhenyang cupped his fists and nodded. Then he led everyone to the conference hall. This time, there was no need to walk step by step along the stairs. Everyone directly rode on a cloud and flew up. After entering the main hall, Wang Daoyuan and Zhao Jinghua both sat on the main seats. Wang Daoyuan asked, "What should we do with the Cruel Sun Palace? Does His Majesty have any orders?" The Cruel Sun Palace was guarding the Cold River Pass. If they were forced into a corner, they might just submit to the Wei Kingdom. Then the Zhao Kingdom would be in danger. Wang Daoyuan had received a message from Zhou Luan that the Cruel Sun Palace was in contact with the forces of the Wei Kingdom. The current state of Zhao was not the same as before. 1,000 years ago, when the state of Zhao was expanding everywhere, they did not put anyone in their eyes. Several small countries established by the Zhou family's branches had been crushed. Back when the state of Zhao beat up the state of Wei, the state of Zhou also sent people to help the state of Wei. The state of Zhao resisted the pressure of the state of Zhou and pressed the state of Wei to the ground. But now, the Zhao family was really no match for the state of Wei. Once they lost the Cold River Pass, how could the state of Wei not take revenge? Zhao Jinghua shook his head and said, "His Majesty did not say clearly." He only said that he has his own arrangements and asked us to stay in the Netherworld sect and wait for the news. Then he sent a message to Emperor Zhao to report about the surrender. After learning the news that Wang Daoyuan and the others had won at the 9 Nether mysterious crystal vein, Emperor Zhao immediately withdrew to the Wanchuan market. At this time, he, Zhao Qingxian, Lord Linhai, and the others were in the conference hall. After receiving Zhao Jingguo's message, a smile appeared on his face. Wang Daoyuan is not simple. I gave him a county in exchange for forcing the Netherworld sect to surrender without losing a single Golden Core Realm cultivator. I also took in 4 Golden Core Realm cultivators from the Netherworld sect. I made a big profit from this deal. Everyone present also looked happy and got up to congratulate Emperor Zhao. Emperor Zhao sighed. It's really difficult to deal with the cruel Sun Palace. It seems that we have to use the backup plan left by Big Brother. Then, he took out a palm-sized white jade token with dragon patterns. Qingchuan exchanged this thing with his life. It has been 500 years, and now it finally comes in handy. Zhao Qingyan was the second son of the first prince and Zhao Liang's second uncle. Emperor Zhao put the white jade token on the table and slammed it hard. A crack appeared on the white jade token. In the northwest corner of the Cold River County in the northwest of the state of Zhao, there was a canyon that divided the mountain into 2 sections. The cliffs on both sides of the canyon were more than 100,000 feet high, and the top of the mountain stretched into the 9 heavens astral wind layer. The canyon in the middle of the cliffs was less than 100 feet wide. A dangerous pass happened to be stuck in the canyon. This was the first dangerous pass in the state of Zhao, the Cold River Pass. For hundreds of years, the state of Wei had lost many people in this dangerous pass, but the Cold River Pass was still the same. In the pass, there was always a Golden Core Realm cultivator of the cruel Sun Palace. On the Wei side, 4 or 5 Golden Core Realm cultivators could not take down the Cold River Pass. Hundreds of miles away from the southeast corner of the Cold River Pass, there was a tall mountain called the Cold River Peak. At the foot of the Cold River Peak, there was a stream that flowed from the north to the south. This stream was the source of the Cold River. The Cold River County and the Cold River Pass were named because of this river. At the foot of the Cold River Peak, there was a stone room that was 100 feet square, more than 3,000 feet underground. On the east wall of the stone room, there was a circular light screen with a diameter of 10 feet. Inside it was a small secret realm with a diameter of only 10 or so miles. The scenery in the secret realm was quite good. It was like a small valley with a clear spring gushing out of it. Next to the spring was a thatched cottage. 2 white-haired cultivators were meditating. One wore a blue robe, the other a silver robe. Suddenly, a white jade token with dragon patterns on the table made a crisp cracking sound. Then, a crack appeared on the token. The 2 old men were stunned, and then tears came out of their eyes. The blue-robed cultivator said with a trembling voice, "His Highness the 9th Prince is finally going to restore the state. We've waited for more than 500 years. If we don't mobilize now, I'm afraid we won't be able to hold on." The silver-robed cultivator wiped his tears. "Calm down first. We still don't know what's going on outside. I'll go to the stone room outside and send a message to the Wei clan master to ask about the situation." Then he got up and walked outside. When he arrived at the stone room, he took out a jade token and sent a message. He soon received a reply. He looked at the jade token for a long time and couldn't hide the smile on his face. He hurriedly returned to the small secret realm. The blue-robed cultivator was waiting behind the light screen. He handed the jade token to the blue-robed cultivator. "His Highness the 9th Prince has indeed mobilized, but the remaining clansmen have been defeated by that idiot Zhao Lingtian. Now that the 9th Prince has ascended the throne, he has united the cultivators of Linhai Prefecture and the hidden clansmen of Shanbei and Green Willow Prefecture. He also roped in the descendants of Markyuchuan to deal with the 3 sects together. Uncle and Markyuchuan's descendants worked together and defeated the cultivators of the 3 sects at the Mystic 9 Depths Crystal Mine. They killed many Golden Core cultivators of the 3 sects, and the Netherworld sect has surrendered. Now, our Zhao clan has a great advantage and the restoration of our nation is in sight." The blue-robed cultivator took the jade token and looked at it for a long time. It seems that His Majesty is worried about the situation at the Cold River Pass. Back then, the first prince asked us to hide here to prevent the three sects from rebelling and leading Wei cultivators into the pass. Now that His Majesty's Jade Dragon token has cracked, it should be that His Majesty wants us to seize the Cold River Pass. The Cruel Sun Palace only has 2 late-stage Golden Core cultivators left, and they are not a match for the 2 of us. As long as we seize the Cold River Pass, we won't have to worry about the Cruel Sun Palace luring a wolf into our house. Then, the blue-robed cultivator walked out of the light screen and sent out another message. 15 minutes later, a black-armored late-stage Zifu realm middle-aged cultivator walked in. He cupped his hands at the blue-robed cultivator and said, "Wei Xuanhu greets Senior." The blue-robed cultivator nodded and said, "Marquis Hanjiang's descendant is indeed extraordinary." Marquis Hanjiang and Marquis Yuchuan were close friends. Now that Marquis Yuchuan's descendant has made a great contribution, Xuanhu, don't fall behind. His Majesty has already sent a message asking us to seize the Cold River Pass and prevent the Cruel Sun Palace from luring a wolf into our house. I wonder if little friend has any plans? Wei Xuanhu cupped his hands and said, "Senior, I will bring my clansmen to the Cold River Pass in 3 days. Senior can disguise yourself as a Wei clansman and sneak into the Cold River Pass." Chapter 623. The blue-robed cultivator nodded. "All right, we'll do as you say." Back then, Marquis Hanjiang died in battle with the eldest prince. The Wei family had to compromise and secretly pledged their loyalty to the Zhao family for hundreds of years. After this is over, I'll ask the emperor for a reward for the Wei family. At that time, the Wei family will be given the title of County Duke. However, you have to choose reliable clansmen. If this battle is over, there won't be any major battles in Hanjiang County. If this battle is lost and Wei country takes over Hanjiang Pass, Hanjiang County will never have peace in the future. The Zhao family didn't dare to completely trust the Wei family. After all, 500 years had passed, and the Wei family had changed a few heads. The Cruel Sun Palace had always treated the Wei family well. It wasn't impossible for the Wei family to join the Cruel Sun Palace. He said this to make Wei Xuanhu think twice. If this battle was over, Hanjiang County would become the battlefield between the Wei country and Zhao country. The Wei family wouldn't have a good time either. Cooperation couldn't only rely on loyalty and friendship. There had to be common interests and common enemies. Wei Xuanhu said solemnly, "Senior, don't worry. I'll definitely choose reliable clansmen." Then, he took out 2 sets of Wei family's armor. 3 days later, the 2 of you will wear this armor and follow me to Hanjiang Pass. The armor was very long and could cover the entire body. There was even a helmet with a visor. When wearing this armor, one wouldn't be able to tell who they were with the naked eye. The blue-robed cultivator put away the armor and returned to the small secret realm. 3 days later, the 2 of them wore the armor and suppressed their cultivation to the middle stage of the Foundation Establishment realm. Wei Xuanhu was already waiting for them. When he saw the 2 of them, he cupped his hands and said, "Seniors, please follow me." The 2 Zhao family's Golden Core realm cultivators followed Wei Xuanhu to the top of the mountain. At this moment, there were already a few Foundation Establishment realm cultivators and more than 20 Qi Refinement realm cultivators waiting there. It was just that Foundation Establishment and Qi Refinement cultivators' armor patterns were not quite the same, and the grades were also different. Wei Xuanhu took out a flying boat and enlarged it to more than 30 meters long. Everyone boarded the flying boat and flew towards Hanjiang Pass in the northwest direction. When they arrived at Hanjiang Pass, the flying boat landed in front of the east gate of Hanjiang Pass. Everyone got off the flying boat. Wei Xuanhu took off his helmet and took out a token. He rushed towards the city gate and shouted, "Wei family's Wei Xuanhu is here to take over the defense." A Zifu disciple of the Crescent Sun Palace peeked his head out, then laughed. "So it's Wei Daoyu. I'll open the door right now." Soon after, the east gate opened and Wei Xuanhu walked in. The Zifu disciple came to greet him. Wei Xuanhu chatted with him for a while, then bid him farewell and headed to the protector's estate. The change in guard of the frigid river pass had to be reported to the golden core cultivator guarding the place. Wei Xuanhu ordered the other clansmen to take over the western city wall, while he brought the 2 golden core realm cultivators of the Zhao clan to the guardian envoy residence. The person guarding this place was the Grand Elder of the Cruel Sun Palace, Immortal Yu Yang, who was also at the late stage of the Golden Core realm. He had been guarding the Cold River Pass since the Cruel Sun Palace took it down 500 years ago. Wei Xuanhu brought the 2 of them into the guardian residence. Spiritual Master Yu Yang received them in the meeting hall. He looked at the 2 golden cores of the Zhao family and smiled. Why did Mystic Tiger bring 2 Foundation Establishment Juniors here? The 2 golden cores of the Zhao family attacked at the same time, taking out a blue and a silver longsword. The blue longsword faintly flickered with lightning, while the silver longsword emitted a baleful aura. When the cultivator holding the blue sword attacked, he didn't forget to throw Wei Xuanhu out. When 2 late golden core cultivators fought, even the slightest shockwave could kill a Zifu disciple. Spiritual Master Yu Yang was caught off guard and was ambushed by 2 cultivators who were stronger than him. It was impossible for him to dodge. He could only take out his life-bound magic weapon and take on the attacks of the 2. 2 sounds of metal clashing could be heard. Spiritual Master Yu Yang was sent flying, crashing through several layers of the walls of the guardian residence. Only when he hit the city wall did he stop. The 2 golden core realm cultivators of the Zhao family quickly followed him and continued to attack. Spiritual Master Yu Yang hurriedly begged for mercy. "Dai, please stop." When the Cruel Sun Palace took down the frigid river pass, the Zhao family had already retreated. Since then I've been guarding this place. My hands have not been stained with the blood of the Zhao family. Emperor Zhao has decreed that as long as the cultivators of the 3 sects are willing to surrender, they can redeem themselves. The Cruel Sun Palace is already at the end of the road. Some Golden Core Realm cultivators have already surrendered to Emperor Zhao. I'm also willing to renounce the darkness and join the light. The 2 Golden Core Realm cultivators glanced at each other and nodded. The blue-robed cultivator took out a blue pearl with a diameter of 3 inches and said with a smile, "The frigid river pass is of great importance. We have to be careful. This is a special Gui water lightning pearl. As long as I willed it, it would explode. As long as you swallow it, I'll believe you for the time being." When the Zhao family army breaks through the Cruel Sun Palace's mountain gate and takes over the frigid river pass, I'll take it out for you. If you want to take it out yourself, it will also explode. Spiritual Master Yu Yang hesitated for a while before swallowing the pearl. The blue-robed cultivator said with a smile, "Order the cultivators of the Cruel Sun Palace to stop." As soon as they started fighting, the Wei family began to seize control of the western city wall. On the frigid river pass, there were cultivators of the Cruel Sun Palace as well as many cultivators of the surrounding families. Now that the Wei family and the Cruel Sun Palace were fighting, the cultivators of the other families didn't know who to help. Spiritual Master Yu Yang said loudly, "Disciples of the Cruel Sun Palace, listen up, give up resistance. The Netherworld sect has already surrendered to Emperor Zhao and there are not many people left in the Cruel Sun Palace. If we continue to resist, we will die. I've already decided to abandon the darkness and surrender to Emperor Zhao. The palace master of the Cruel Sun Palace wants to surrender to the Wei state and lead the Wei state cultivators into the pass. We all have a blood feud with the Wei state cultivators. Once they enter, will we have a good time? If Emperor Zhao attacks again, the entire frigid river county will become a battlefield. At that time, the families won't even be able to protect the foundation of their ancestors." Hearing this, most of the Cruel Sun Palace disciples gave up resistance. A small number of Cruel Sun Palace disciples refused to surrender and were quickly killed under the siege of the Wei family cultivators and other family cultivators. Spiritual Master Yu Yang shouted, "Clean up the pass and prepare to defend against the Wei state's attack." The Wei state had a large camp 300 kilometers west of the frigid river pass. It was impossible for them to not notice such a big commotion in the frigid river pass. It wouldn't be long before they came to take advantage of the situation. Everyone immediately took action, tidying up the western city wall and preparing to defend against the enemy. The blue-robed cultivator took out the cracked white jade token with dragon patterns and crushed it. At the Wanchuan market, the white jade token in front of Emperor Zhao also shattered into pieces. Emperor Zhao's face lit up. Great, the backup plan left by Big Brother has worked. Now that the frigid river pass is in the hands of the Zhao family, even if the cruel Sun Palace wants to collude with the Zhao state, they are powerless. Everyone, get ready, we are going to attack the myriad spirit sect. Everyone agreed in unison and went to prepare for the battle. Emperor Zhao took out a jade talisman and sent a message. In the Netherworld sect's meeting hall, Zhao Jingwa took out a jade talisman and said with a smile, "We didn't wait in vain. His Majesty has sent a message that the frigid river pass has been taken. We don't have to worry about the Wei state anymore and can attack the cruel Sun Palace without worry." In addition, His Majesty has ordered everyone in the Zhao family to return to the Wanchuan market. His Majesty is going to personally attack the myriad spirit sect. He has appointed Duke Qingli as the Southern Mountain Appeasing Ambassador to lead the cultivators of Linhai State, the Netherworld sect, and the Cruel Sun Palace to attack the Cruel Sun Palace. Wang Daoyuan cupped his hands towards the southeast and said, "As His Majesty commands." Zhao Jingwa gave Wang Daoyuan the token that controlled the various formations of the Netherworld sect, as well as the key to the treasury. Then he left the Netherworld sect with a few golden core cultivators of the Zhao family and headed towards the southeast. Wang Daoyuan ordered, "Gu Qingfeng, summon the 2 golden core cultivators stationed at Gold Goose City. Gold Goose City and Origin Mountain will be guarded by Zifu cultivators. Zhong Zhenyang, gather all the cultivators of the Netherworld sect who can participate in the battle and prepare to set off at any time. In addition, take out all the pills, talismans, magic tools, and other resources of 3rd grade and below from the Netherworld sect's treasury and supply them to the army." The 2 cupped their hands and agreed. The other cultivators also went to work. Chapter 624. Not long after everyone went down, Zhong Zhenyang sneakily came back. He took out a universe ring and said with a flattering expression, "Your Royal Highness, we are old friends. Netherworld sect bullied Wang family before, but it was all that bastard Luo Jiuyo's idea. Our 3 families didn't participate. It's just that we old guys have a blood feud with Zhao family. Emperor Zhao is magnanimous and won't lower himself to our level. It's just that the younger generation of Zhao family will inevitably target us. Their lives won't be easy. We heard that your Royal Highness can confer the title of Marquis and below, so we want to work for you. This is the universe ring I got from exploring the cave of an ancient cultivator. The space inside is 500 feet square. The copies of Netherworld sect's inheritance made by my family's younger generation are all inside. In addition, there are some local specialties of Netherworld sect. Please kindly accept them." Although Netherworld sect's 3 families had titles, their fiefs had not been determined. After Zhao family quelled the rebellion, they would reward meritorious officials. There were Zhao family's relatives, Lin Hai's 13 families, and the old nobles. Netherworld sect's 3 families were not on the same side as any other power. If there was no one above them, they could live, but after they died, their younger generations would be bullied to death. Wang Daoyuan was also very tempted by this item. The inheritance that the underworld sect had accumulated for thousands of years was a huge treasure to any force. However, he didn't dare to agree easily. If he accepted them as his subordinates, it would be a blatant expansion of his power. It would be easy to be suspected of disloyalty. He waved his hand again and again. "I don't dare to make this decision. You surrendered to Emperor Zhao, not me. Emperor Zhao should have the final say on where the fief is. Besides, there are no large yin veins in my territory." Zhong Zhenyang said with a smile, "We don't dare to ask for success. When His Majesty assigns titles, your Royal Highness can say a few good words. It doesn't matter if there are yin veins or not. As early as 100 years ago, when the yin qi in Mingshui River disappeared, we began to prepare. There are some clansmen who practice righteous cultivation methods in the family. Even if there are no yin veins, the family can continue. If we have yin meridians, even if we have to seal ourselves in the bitter cold of the northern mountains, we are willing to do so. Wang Daoyuan nodded. If that's the case, it's not a problem to say a few words, but I can't guarantee that it will work. Zhong Jinyang's face was full of joy. It's good that Your Highness is willing to ask. I hope Your Highness will kindly accept these local specialties. Wang Daoyuan accepted the interspatial ring without hesitation. It had to be said that Zhong Jinyang was really good at doing things. There were indeed many good things in his interspatial ring. In addition to a large number of jade slips and bee skin books, there were also piles of 3rd and 4th grade refining materials and processed spirit herbs. Naturally, there was also the purple gold jade marrow fruit. He had also gathered all the supplementary herbs needed to form the gold core. Moreover, the seeds of these spirit herbs were still preserved. The local specialties of the underworld sect were really good. He secretly decided that he would also plunder some local specialties from the cruel Sun Palace. 2 days later, the resources and manpower of the underworld sect had been allocated, and they were ready to go to battle at any time. Wang Daoyuan ordered a golden core cultivator from Linhai State to guard the underworld sect. There were also low-level cultivators from the Zhao clan, Linhai State, Guiyuan sword sect, and some cultivators under the command of the Duke's Manor. Of course, there were also many cultivators from the underworld sect. The cultivators were a little mixed, so no one could have an absolute advantage. That way, they wouldn't dare to cause trouble. Wang Daoyuan led 7 golden core cultivators to the west. He had to take low-level cultivators with him. The cultivators of the underworld sect's Luo clan could not be left out. Wang Daoyuan didn't have the intention to scheme against them. To put it bluntly, the Luo clan's cultivators were just cannon fodder. The losses from the cruel Sun Palace might not be great, but after taking it down, there were still battles to fight. Zhong Jinyang, that old fox, knew his attitude towards the Luo clan. Without his orders, he would send the Luo clan's cultivators to the most dangerous place. 10 third-tier flying warships, 1 fourth-tier middle-tier flying warship, and 30 flying boats, under the leadership of 8 gold core realm cultivators, headed west. The cruel Sun Palace wasn't far from the underworld sect. It was in the Sunset County, east of Darkwada County. It was said that in ancient times, a golden crow had fallen here, so it was named the Sunset County. The cruel Sun Palace was in the Sunset Valley in the middle of the Sunset County. There was something special about the Sunset Valley. There were cliffs on both sides and a lava river in the middle. The lava in other places was 8,000 to 10,000 feet below the surface, but the lava river in the Sunset Valley was only 2,000 feet above the surface. Also, the spirit chi in the lava river was comparable to a rank 4 high-grade spirit vein. The entire Sunset Valley was 500 miles long and 50 miles wide at its widest. The buildings in the cruel Sun Palace were on the cliffs on both sides of the Sunset Valley. There were also huge stone pillars protruding from the lava river. A few buildings were built on these pillars. When Wang Daoyuan and the others arrived at the Sunset Valley, the cruel Sun Palace didn't surrender immediately like the underworld sect. The Sunset Valley was enveloped by a rank 4 high-grade defensive array. Breaking through this kind of defensive array was not something that could be done in a short period of time. They found a rank 3 mid-grade spirit vein east of the Sunset Valley as their temporary base. Then, Wang Daoyuan led the golden core cultivators to check the Sunset Valley's defense formation. Of course, it was also to intimidate the cruel Sun Palace. Of the 8 golden core cultivators, 4 were late-stage golden core cultivators. The cruel Sun Palace only had 3 golden core cultivators at the very most. One was Sect Master Golden Sun, one was Grand Elder Earthflame, and the last was Lei Wudao, who had just formed his core. This guy had been nurtured as a golden core seedling and had finally formed his core recently. The 3 of them together were 2 times the battle power of Lord Waterfront Sea. They were nothing in front of Wang Daoyuan. Qian Yang stepped forward and shouted, "I'm Qian Yang, the hidden golden core cultivator of the cruel Sun Palace. In terms of seniority, I'm the same as Golden Sun Sect Master. Now, The cruel Sun Palace has lost almost all its golden core cultivators. It's impossible to stop Emperor Zhao's army. Emperor Zhao has decreed that cultivators of the three sects who surrender will redeem themselves and those who betray will be rewarded. After I surrendered, I helped the Duke kill the Underworld sect's sect master Luo Jiuyo and his brother. I'm now a count. The 4 Golden Core cultivators of the Underworld sect killed the Golden Core cultivators of the Luo family who didn't want to surrender. If you can surrender before the Duke makes his move, you'll be rewarded with a city and a title. After Emperor Zhao quells the rebellion, those with titles will be rewarded with land. Fellow disciples, it's up to you whether you want to be killed or be rewarded with land. After Qian Yang finished speaking, there was no movement in the cruel Sun Palace. Wang Daoyuan didn't want to waste time and took out the meteorite fire controlling gourd. Red and gold flames gushed out of the gourd. Below was a lava river and a high-grade rank 4 fire spiritual vein. The fire spiritual qi was extremely rich. The golden flames quickly ignited the fire spiritual qi and the fire quickly spread. He also took out the vermilion bird fan and used the vermilion bird fire controlling technique. The vermilion bird phantom attacked the defensive formation with the golden flames. The lava river below was also ignited by the golden flames and the fire became even fiercer. Wang Daoyuan only needed to consume a small amount of spiritual sense to control the flames of the fire controlling gourd. Not only did he not need to consume spiritual power, he could also continuously extract spiritual power from the golden flames. If this continued, it wouldn't be a problem to last for 10 days or half a month. The attack of the vermilion bird phantom was also extremely powerful under the support of the endless flames. The fiery red light barrier of the defensive formation slightly trembled under the attack. The defensive formation of the cruel Sun Palace should be both offensive and defensive. But this formation was only passive and didn't have the slightest intention of attacking. Fire attribute formations were good at offense and didn't have much of a defensive ability. The cultivators of the cruel Sun Palace abandoned their strengths and used their weaknesses. If this continued, the formation wouldn't be able to last much longer. At this moment, Zhong Zhenyang took out a formation testing disc and began to search for the formation's weakness. 15 minutes later, a late-stage Violet Palace Realm cultivator appeared in the center of the setting Sun Valley, in front of a palace on a stone pillar. He cupped his hands at Wang Daoyuan. "Greetings, Your Highness. The Grand Elder, Palace Lord, and Vice Palace Lord have already used the sect's backup plan to escape the setting Sun Valley a day ago. They also took away the talented disciples in the palace, as well as all the inheritances and resources they could take away. Now, there are only a few old and weak people left in the formation, as well as a few mortals. Please give them a way out and let them go, Your Highness. If you want to kill them, I'll take responsibility. As long as Your Highness agrees, I'll close the defensive formation." You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.